we got what's up everybody? It's Sean Peter Blumfcott and you know introduce my co-stream host. What's up? What up? What up? If you're watching on my channel, make sure you show his YouTube some love. Uh, ELiDZ. You search that in the bar. It's all together, right? Just to make sure it's all together, right? So yeah, all together, no spaces. Search it. Go find. Go. Matter of fact, I got your channel link in my description, so they can find you there. His channel will be linked in my description, so go check his channel out. But yeah, I'll let you, say some things. All right, and if you're watching on my channel, the screen probably looks odd. You probably see me, like I'm on the bottom, and I'm also on the top. Like I'm on his stream as well. But we didn't really get a chance to work out that kink right there. As far as a lot of this we kind of learned on the fly. He just downloaded Streamlabs, not just, but he recently downloaded Streamlabs, so he's still learning. And yes, so his stream is looking a little different, but it's all good. Anyway, make sure you, if you're watching on my channel, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and also go to his channel and please do the same. Like the stream, hit that subscribe button. Yeah. But yeah. All right. So, you know, I kind of, before we get into these deep manga discussions, I kind of want to, talk about the anime a little bit because I like to, especially in these streams I do that's in between the chapters. I like to talk about the anime, a little bit of what's going on, and I want to say this last episode, I don't know what toy was on, but it was like you say you didn't see it, but the animation, they went all out with that animation. I'm gonna just tell you that, like it's nothing particular that happened, that we didn't already know in the manga. I mean, they added a little filler, like they had Yamato kind of like training, like we didn't see her in the manga up to that point. Like it was a little later we seen, but they actually kind of showed Yamato. They didn't show her face, but they showed Yamato, and like she was training. But that's kind of the only like filler moment that I really remember. But it was it was a dope episode, man. It was just anime, like how all out they went with it. It wasn't like your normal like a dope ass fight scene with great animation. It was like every moment of the anime, even little moments, they went all out, bro. Like it was a part where when Queen is kind of showing he's like the DJ of the party or the host, like that party, bro. It almost felt like a music video. I'll let him get that done. Uh huh. Yeah. 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 I agree. I definitely agree with that. Like there's been filler, you know, very small filler in like the anime, like when Wano first started, right? And we see that scene with Zoro kind of just like walking through the streets of Wano. Like we didn't get that. Not like I think as much as they show like when he got caught and everything. Like we didn't really get all that. But the anime gave us that, and I don't think it was bad filler. It added, it added like it did what filler is supposed to do. You know, and that's filling like certain holes that maybe the manga doesn't touch on. Like filler isn't a bad thing. It's only bad when it like really doesn't serve any purpose and it's used too much. Like I get sometimes they use filler episodes in order to catch up the manga, but as you know, I think filler is good when used correctly. Mm, yeah, 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 yeah. You'll believe me. Like even now, like bro, like sometimes I'll be streaming for like I'll be talking for like a good 5 minutes, and I'm like, damn, I forgot to unmute my mic. Like it happens, like in the middle of stream, like I'm talking, I start my stream muted, and it's like, yeah, hiccups will happen. I'm telling you. But as far as the anime, yeah, I get what you're saying. For me, Wino has been it's been a lot easier to digest. Even the filler moments, even some of the slower moments. To me, it's not as bad as Dressrosa. Like to me, Dressrosa. Like a lot of people love Dressrosa because they love the, Da Flamingo. But to me, the pacing just killed it for me, bro. I like had to stop watching episodes for like 2 months and just catch up every 2 months. It was just Wano's not that for me. And a, Whole Cake was a bit. I would say a lot. It was better than Dressrosa in that aspect, but it wasn't. It's not as good as Wano in that aspect. The pacing was a little bad in Whole Cake as well. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And the thing is like lately, I would say the animation of Wano has been like they've been revving it up, but like this last episode, bro, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like it wasn't even like nothing real special happened, but it's like they decided to throw the budget on this last episode. It was wild, like how fluid it moved as well, and then it was just like it started with them attacking that little fortress that's in the front of Onigashima. It started there, and then it was like, okay, let's move on to get Nasaki chair, doing the chairs. Then it went to Onigashima, where it's like uh the party's happening. They're all having fun, and then we see Queen talking, and it almost like the whole thing almost starts as like a music video, like an anime music video, and Queen doing his thing on the mic, the music, the lights, the animation was just beautiful. Almost looked like a movie, almost, like an anime movie. And then you see Kaido. We see the Toby Ropo going to Kaido, and then they come to Kaido, and bro, I'm gonna let you, you know, watch that, bro. Like, uh, somebody somebody put in the Discord like earlier today, or yeah, early today, this morning, and they was like, bro, or no, it was last night. They put in the Discord. They like, hey, the new episode, godly, and I'm like, okay, that's. I don't. Sometimes I don't like people hyping something up because then it's like if it. I don't want you to hype it up and then not live up to this godly expectations. And then I watched it. I was like, I see why he said that. And it's not like anything special happened. To me, that's kind of the like why like that. That's why I'm shocked. To me, that's what kind of got me all revved up because nothing special happened, but they made it a special episode almost. You know, it had me hyped to look at. Like it had me hyped to look at. But let's go into you know the discussion. I'll let you start. If you want to start, since I just went on the whole rant about the anime. Mm-hmm.
Briefly just say the last few chapters have definitely been eights, nines. It's hard to say a 10. It's hard for me to give a chapter a 10, but they've been eights and nines for sure. Like it's really revving up. It's just one revelation after our next in the most random places. I mean, we're going to talk about it towards the end, but the sun god thing just coming out of nowhere, out of the mouth of who's who, no one could have saw that coming. But it's like, it accomplishes so much in one move. It's like world building, it's giving who's who character, it's giving us something to look forward to. I mean, Oda's just knocking it out of the park. It's probably
Hey,
all those breaks he's getting.
bro. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I want to apologize to you, man. I accidentally had I guess your audio on mute. So
Uh,
I just unmuted it because in the beginning of the stream I put it on mute because like you could hear it in the on my starting soon thing. So I muted and I forgot to unmute it. So
uh,
like I'm sorry about that. Like
that's all right. I didn't
fortunately
even say that much.
yeah,
Oh well.
fortunately you didn't say anything like yeah, and I'm sorry guys that I had my guest on, my co-host on mute that whole time. But yeah, like you was saying, he was we was talking about dang, I'm sorry about that, bro. Like I
No.
heard you the whole time, but the stream didn't hear you. But go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Uh, so before we really get into this, I want to encourage anybody to leave comments in the chat because I actually do read it. So if you want to make a comment, question or whatever, I will respond. I know Sean does as well because I was on his chat just last week. He's responding to me. So yeah, feel free. Say anything. I see DJ Red comment, Salamander Red, Zigombi. So yeah, anybody, just we do actually read the chat.
Yeah.
But getting into any standout chapters,
I'm
I
pulling
would
up
say
your stream on my phone so I could. I want to see your chat. I want to see check out your chat as well.
oh,
But
okay, great.
yeah, go ahead. I'm keep interrupting you. My bad.
No, it's no biggie. Um, of the latest chapters, the one that I like the most is actually the last one that came out, the 1018. I mean, that one for me was just so great. It was entertaining, but also hit on like a lot of the theories that I'm working on. So it's like the perfect one for me to be talking about as of now. You know, since I took a little break from talking about the latest chapters. But anything that stand out, I guess I can go through the chapters and just point out one thing each. The last thing I remember us talking about, that was around the time that Big Mom uh created Hera.
Yeah, and she
So I'm
hates
gonna
Zeus.
not talk about that. Yeah, we talked about that. That was a great stopping point.
Yeah,
Since then, we've seen Big Mom uh actually enter in back in Onigashima. So that's a great place to start because we're not going to be talking about Big Mom in the very latest chapter. She hasn't appeared
no,
in a little while.
yeah. I actually think I want to say like two chapters ago was probably one of my favorite recent chapters. I just I have to look, but go ahead.
Um, so what we learn about Big Mom's soul, which I find interesting, is that she could have a rebellious soul, which just goes to show, I guess, her inner conflict, you know, in a more literal sense. This is gonna matter later on because eventually something's gonna happen with Big Mom. She's gonna have to pick a side, or maybe the side she picked is her own conventional.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like Oda just keeps on revving up Big Mom doing something out of the ordinary. And you know, Zeus going to Nami in the way that he did, I don't think anybody saw it coming. Everybody was like, "Oh yeah, Nami's gonna get Zeus." But then Zeus going into the climb attack is something I don't think anybody ever expected to happen. And I think it's just the perfect way of that concluding. I mean, first of all, it's Oda doing what's expected, but with a twist. And it's Nami getting a power
Buff.
boost.
Yeah. I agree
Yeah.
with that. I like how he did that because to me that was always kind of my gripe on like Nami getting Zeus was how she was
Mm-hmm.
gonna get it.
Yes, in a very straw hat way, where it's like, you're my partner now, not just, you know, because of plot reasons, because it had to happen. It was like, you know, something Luffy would do.
Yeah, yeah. Like I've said, one thing I've said was like if Nami just has Zeus and like Big Mom will continue to follow Nami until she got Zeus back off of principle. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like you took something that she owns, so she's going to continue to follow. So Nami would never be safe, nor the Straw Hats, because you know, I always looked at like Big Mom had to either grant Nami Zeus or what happened. You know, which I didn't think that was an option, but I thought it was acceptable.
I think right now she has some grace period because it doesn't seem like Big Mom knows that Zeus is now in the climate attack. And who knows where Big Mom's character goes after this arc. So Nami might be safe depending on how the cards play out. I mean, that's sort of like what Oda, he plays his cards just so well. Like Nami gets Zeus, but Big Mom has her own Cloud homie now. Like he does everything so meticulously. It's amazing. He just makes it so like no one has to have to wonder like, oh, why isn't Big Mom going after Nami? She needs Zeus or whatever. He does everything. He has everything planned out. It's just
Yeah,
incredible.
yeah, yeah.
I guess the
I agree.
next relevant thing after that was Luffy seemingly getting defeated for the thousandth time.
Yeah, I thought I knew that was I knew like I've always spoke that Luffy will be defeated again. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like you've heard my thoughts on Luffy being defeated, and or
Yeah, I'll be honest. I almost thought he might not get defeated, but
yeah.
he clearly did. But it doesn't matter. I mean, it's happened a billion times. Just look at Crocodile fight.
I mean, I kind of believe more so the whole alliance getting defeated.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but
That's a great point to make up because I have a message here. It says, "Do you think the raid will fail and that the crew will have rematches with the Beast Pirates after on? There's just too much to cover with just one raid. The Beast Pirates, Drake, CP0, potentially Blackbeard, and the Big Mom Pirates. Honestly, I can't see the Straw Hats winning on the first try."
I agree. I agree. I've stated like
Mm-hmm.
one theory that I've always kind of been a believer or that it's kind of fan. I ain't gonna lie, it's head canon. It is head
Mm-hmm.
canon. I won't lie, but my thing was I believe at the end of the arc that Kaido will win, and or if he or maybe he might like leave. Like I always
Mm-hmm.
thought that Kaido might leave to go start a different war. So it might kind of be like a moral victory, maybe like
Mm-hmm.
or a symbolic victory. Like yeah, we got Wano back, but we didn't really defeat Kaido. He just kind of left because it was like he kind of gave up on it. But something Kaido said back a few chapters ago kind of disproved that. He said like I don't. I'm not like giving up Wano or
Mm-hmm.
the flower capital. I can't. I don't remember exactly what chapter he said and what exactly he said, but I I think that Wano because I want to believe that Kaido is going to be around for this great war.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want to see all the Yonko together. I want to see
Yeah.
and I want Luffy to be there to almost be an equal. Like I want
Mm-hmm.
that to be the moment where Luffy is actually like, okay, I'm equivalent to a Yonko. Like I could take on any of these guys one on one, but I wanted that to be like after Wano. Like
Mm-hmm.
he could defeat Kaido after Wano. Like that's kind of like a little headcanon, but that's kind of what I always championed. You know.
So I agree with you and Zagambi on the standpoint that it's just so much that it doesn't seem feasible. Now, I also take into account the boring factor, which is just the fact that Oda only has so much time to work on this.
That's
I know
true.
that's not like the cool, fun, creative aspect, but it is something that you do have to take in consideration is that as much as you could fit into the story, Oda in sure every time he said One Piece will end in 5 years, like 5 years ago. But I can't imagine that he would still be continuing for another more than 10 years, right? And he just has to, he has so much stuff to get through that I feel like at some point he's going to have to give up this or that. And that
Mm.
may even mean he has to defeat Kaido a little bit earlier on just for the sake of timing. And I'm always open to that. I'm always open to because after watching a lot of manga, I mean, One Piece is so awesome and privileged that we've had more than 1,000 chapters. But in other mangas, sometimes they don't get that long, and you kind of create all these expectations, and then they get cut short
Mm-hmm.
because of just realistic reasons, business and all that. So
Yeah.
always keep that in mind so that I don't set myself up to be disappointed. But with Oda, I don't think I ever had to be disappointed because no matter what he does, he always delivers. So whether if he makes it seem like Kaido gets defeated a little bit early, he's gonna deliver. So I always just keep that in mind. But I definitely see your points and agree with it in
Yeah.
terms of like awesome, cool, creative factors.
I mean, I think it's possible he could go down, and like one way I think Oda can go to make it a believable defeat, at least in my eyes, in my opinion, at least, is if Big Mom somehow betrays Kaido. And
Mm-hmm.
I think I feel as though Oda has left breadcrumbs for a potential betrayal of Big Mom. Because
Yeah.
think about it. Where the Big Mom pirates? Where are her children at? Like they've been in Onigashima how long, and not one person went to go get them. Like I feel as though somebody went to go get them, they'd be here by now, right?
Yeah.
That's what I would think. And plus, they're in the air now, so I mean, I don't know how that would work. They would have to meet him in the fire capital, but
Now that
like,
would be funny if they made it to Onigashima only to realize it's not there anymore.
but like, yeah, Kaido. I don't think Kaido has ever told Big Mom about those lifts that he has. The entrance to Onigashima without having
Mm-hmm.
to go up the mountain. Like
Yeah.
he's never told Big Mom that, at least as far as we
Yeah.
know. And you also look at Peril Sparrow. Like when he first got there, he was kind of teaming up with Marco. You know, he was
Mm-hmm.
going against the Beast Pirates, and then Big Mom punching Alti. Alti is one of Kaido's officers.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's a little something there for a potential betrayal. And if she does, she could hurt Kaido enough to maybe for Luffy to defeat. You know, and yeah, I know people
Yeah.
would probably be against that because it's like not a real victory for Luffy, but I feel as though I don't see how Luffy could get a real victory against somebody like Kaido.
Luffy, the thing about with Luffy is one, he's a pirate, so he can do certain things that wouldn't fly in some kind of like martial arts, all about honor type of story. They're more about traveling and getting treasure. They're not specifically trying. Luffy's not like I'm trying to be the number one fighter in the world. So I
Yeah,
never hold him to having to strictly 1v1 specific people. And it's just whatever Oda does. What I've learned is to just because there's been times in the past where I'm like, there's no way Oda could do this or that, but then he just makes it deliver because if it doesn't pay off in the moment, it will pay off at some point.
yeah,
And I think uh, there are One Piece fans that have been used to it and have more faith, and then there's certain One Piece fans that are more newer, so they don't know what to expect, and then there's certain One Piece fans that just never learn, but they're still stuck around. So it's just whatever. I don't think he's worried about it. I have
hey,
here.
I got another about Kaido defeat. I forgot there was another option,
Uh,
another theory that I had for Kaido. And again, these aren't like theories I came up with. And you
mhm.
heard me say this theory before, but like, I'm not gonna take credit for the theory. But Blackbeard potentially being the one to kill Kaido, kind of like doing what he did to Whitebeard. You know, and a lot of people always say, like, why would Blackbeard do that? Why would Blackbeard kill him? But like,
Mhm.
think of it this way. I think Blackbeard could take on the third devil fruit.
Mhm.
I think he do because if you look at his theme, it involves threes, right? He has like a theme of threes. He had his Jolly Roger has three skulls. He he's his animal like Oda gives a lot of characters like animals, right? Especially like the
Yeah.
Shichibukai. If you look at all the Shichibukai, Ball Hancock's a snake, Mihawk's a hawk, Kuma bear, Law Law's what, a panda bear,
Leopard, snow leopard.
a snow leopard.
I think it's yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay. Doflamingo, flamingo, and then you had Blackbeard, a hippopotamus, and a hippopotamus. If you like look this up, a hippopotamus has 3 stomach chambers, right? So he basically could have 3 stomachs, you know, if they go by like the hippopotamus theme, right? So that would leave one for the Yami Yami no Mi, which is the most supposedly the most powerful Logia, right? And then you have the Goro Goro. Is it Goro Goro or Goro Goro?
Gouda, I think.
Gouda Gouda. The Trimmer fruit, which is said to be the most powerful Promisia. Now let's say he gets Kaido's Devil Fruit, the most. I mean, we don't know if it's the most powerful zone, but let's say it could potentially be. That's why Kaido's as strong as he is. Yeah. He would have the most powerful Logia, Promisia, Zone Devil Fruit.
I mean, it completely adds up. There's no doubt about that.
And then he would literally be the most powerful. Like, I mean, just his 2 Devil Fruits he got now, and he's up there as one of the most powerful. If you give him that Devil Fruit, who's challenging him? It's going to have to be Luffy and the series Luffy.
I like the thought of that, just to imagine that Blackbeard hasn't been training his Haki at all, and it's just like banking all his strength in Devil Fruits. I could see something like that.
Yeah. I think they say you're muted.
Oh, yeah. I had to fix something on another scene. It should be fixed now.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I don't know. You know, I like to look at Blackbeard as being the potential. At least as far as Kaido's downfall.
Which animal was Crocodile again?
Crocodile.
So I do like that from that standpoint of like him having all 3. The only thing, the grievance I have is that if we're seeing a dragon with Kaido, I don't know if I really want to see another dragon. That's just my grievance.
Bro, but it's not.
Other than that, it all makes sense.
It's not a normal dragon, bro. It's not a normal dragon. It's a dragon with the darkness fruit.
And, yeah, I get that.
And the Trimmer abilities, you know. It's not just like a normal Kaido dragon. It's gonna be.
I just got a comment. It says, "I like the idea of Blackbeard getting Sengoku's Buddha and corrupting it."
Oh, that might actually be. That'd be pretty dope. The dark, a dark Buddha. A dark Buddha.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
The darkness Buddha.
It's like instead of enlightened, he's endarkened. He makes his own word. If I don't read your comment, it's not that I'm ignoring it, because I see something like with the Zoro and the Mink. The reason I do that is because I know later on we're going to talk about other stuff where it'd be more relevant. But I will backtrack and look at other comments. Yeah.
But if you want to move on, I'm done with that. You know, my little spiel.
Yeah, we'll talk about Luffy losing. That's a good topic because it's not like that's been resolved yet. So even though it's a little old, we can still talk about it. First thing I find interesting is that he goes in the water, and my prediction, I'll say it even though it obviously didn't happen, was that because he's rubber, maybe he can find a way to like find like an air bubble in the water, absorb it, and then become a balloon and float to the top. I'm surprised in over 1,000 chapters, I don't think we've ever seen Luffy utilize his rubber powers in that way to counter water. We've seen so many Devil Fruits counter the water weakness, like Aokiji's an easy one. He literally freezed out ice, you know. But I don't think we've ever seen Luffy like really utilize that in over 1,000 chapters.
I guess when he touches the water, it's just you can't, you know. He just loses. Because you look at Aokiji, he doesn't really touch the water. You know, he's freezing it before his body even. Well, I mean, I guess when he stuck his hand in there and froze that part, but like when he's on his bike, he's touching his bike and his bike's touching the water, you know. But I
That's
don't know.
true
That's
for the
weird.
sake of like if he was already submerged. But if he's not submerged, he should be able to
Okay,
work with it because Brook, he can literally just like run on top of water.
that's
I mean,
true.
so
That's
if he
true.
can do that, why can't Luffy figure something out? But of course, he was knocked out when he was falling off. So there's nothing he can do now. But I was thinking maybe some way, somehow, he could have saved himself. But the obvious answer was that the submarine was going to save him, and it happened. You know, sometimes the most obvious thing is the correct one.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what I usually always, you know, say because like there was a topic that I was talking to somebody before, you know, but I know you kind of had your, you kind of had a flow going, so I'll just wait to get to that topic.
Uh, I was gonna also comment on him being underwater in the submarine. They were able to hear him. Well, we kind of brushed over, but I don't think there's much to comment on with Momonosuke being able to hear Luffy. To me, that's not too surprising because I've always been theorizing that Haki is voice. Well, I mean, that's not a theory, it's literally called voice. But I've also been theorizing that it's not just a term, Haki literally is voice. Haki is a sound, Haki is a frequency. So Luffy, I mean, Momonosuke being able to hear Luffy is almost like a radio signal or Bluetooth or whatever. And so what's interesting is that even the people in the submarine were able to hear Luffy. And that could just be him, projecting his Haki to them, which to me would confirm all the more that my theory that Conqueror's Haki is the element of the throat, which is voice. And maybe he was doing it that way, or maybe he was literally setting out a frequency that their submarine radio picked up or something. But they didn't say anything about like they heard it through the radio. They just said they heard it, which makes it seem like it's more like a spiritual frequency that they were able to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Which is odd because they don't have the voice of all things. I mean, they don't, so that wouldn't make sense for them too. But in one of my theories, oh, perfect. So in the throat chakra in the background. In my theory, it's like the Conqueror's Haki is almost like forcing somebody to use observation Haki to the point that it overloads them. If you look at Kobe when he's hearing too many voices around him, like when he first used observation Haki, it was like too much for him. It was like overloading him.
Yeah.
Same thing for that girl Aiza in Skypiea. It's like it's a sensory overload. And Conqueror's Haki is almost like doing that to the degree, like just overloading you to the point where it's almost like you're drowning, which is another thing that I'll, talk about in my Understanding Haki Part 4, where there's a reason why Dove Fruits is weak to water, and it all connects.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just want to make a comment on that. I never got a chance to make a video or anything like that.
I got a question for you. Because, like, you said something. Like, you said Conqueror's Haki is basically observation. It's almost like forcing you to use your observation Haki to, like, overloading it, right?
It's like forcing you to hear my voice.
Yeah. That kind of reminds me of, like, the Infinity Stones in, like, the Marvel universe, right? To where, like, each stone does something, right? Like, you got Time Stone, you got the Power Stone. But like when they're together, it's like, cause how they work, it's like, okay, you got a Time Stone, right? The Power Stone is boosting the Time Stone, right? Mm-hmm. So like, let's say with the Time Stone alone, you could kind of reverse time a little bit. But with the Power Stone, you could go through time, like you could exist in like all times if you wanted. You know what I'm saying? So the Power Stone is kind of overloading the Time Stone's abilities. So I'm kind of looking at maybe if your theory is like correct, maybe it's armament Haki that's pushing observation Haki, and them two together is creating Conqueror's Haki. So I don't know. It just kind of made me think of the stones, how they work and how Haki might work. Something similar.
I think Haki mixing is definitely going to become a thing. We already see like Luffy and Kaido, they could use like armament and Conquerors at the same time. So I'm sure there's more to that.
Yeah. All right.
That's about everything I wanted to say about Luffy's defeat.
All right. Was you going in like an order, or you just?
I was kind of like, I'm not gonna go over each and every single thing. Like, for example, in that same chapter, Kinemon gets defeated, and
Yeah.
if this was like a weekly discussion, I'd talk about it, but I'm just gonna brush past it.
Well, kind of, talking about going in your timeline a little bit. I want to bring up, cause I think around that time we get Odin, the return of Odin, right? Which wasn't Odin, it was really Conjuro, But in the discussion we had before, somebody, I was kind of debating with somebody who said it could be spirits, right? Like it could have been Odin's spirit, and I was like, nah, I think Conjuro is the obvious choice.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think I didn't believe that Conjuro was dead. I didn't believe Orochi was dead. It was just how they died. It was just like anticlimactic. Orochi got beheaded. A character with like 8 heads got beheaded. Like, how is that not? How is that not like obvious that he wasn't going to be dead? And Conjuro, who could clone himself, right? But thinking about it like spirits, right? Right now they're having the Fire Festival. They're having the Fire Festival, which is a homage to the dead. We could potentially get the return of some dead characters. I mean, temporary return. By the end of Wano, we could potentially get Odin, right? Like Odin, we might get a little closure with Odin, and the Scabbards and his family, and then if Okiko is really dead, like if Okiko is really dead, then Okiko could reunite with Izo. It'd be a little closure for Izo, and then I'm trying to think of who died. If Kinemon died, he could return to see his wife. Because remember, remember in the beginning he was like, "Oh, I'll wait to after we reclaim Wano before I'll see my wife." If he's dead, we'll never get that closure.
Yeah.
And here's another one.
This is something we can talk about for a while, and we're going to. But I just want to real quick before we move on. Someone said something interesting.
Oh, I just had one more person.
Salamander Red.
I just had one more person. I'll let you go. Ace.
Oh yeah.
Ace.
Oh yeah.
He Otama, Luffy, and Yamato. They get a little closure. But go ahead.
That would be amazing. Salamander Red said, "Conqueror's Haki amplifying observation, could create the voice of all things." I think that's an interesting take. I could imagine something like that.
I mean, because I feel as though the voice of all things has to do with Conqueror's Haki.
Yeah, it must.
Yeah.
So I'll read because this is pretty relevant in chapter. Oh, actually, read from the manga. So we found out that we're about 2 characters. It was Otoko and Tenguyama. And Tenguyama says, "Isn't it bright and joyful here, Otoko?" She laughs. That's what she always does. "The Fire Festival is a time to mourn and celebrate those who have passed. That is why the fire are so high up and reach up to the heavens." She says, "I wonder if Daddy is watching us right now." So that's another person.
Yasui.
"Of course he is, my dear. Just look at how clear the sky is. I'm certain that he is looking down at this very moment and watching you and the fate of the country."
Yeah.
So there's so many hints that something to do with the afterlife, something to do with these souls. And now that we know about the sun god, sun, fire, the fire festival, he literally says, "Isn't it bright and joyful, joy boy?" I mean, there's just so many interconnecting things going on here.
Hey, listen to this. Listen to this. I want to set the stage.
Yeah.
Remember, I forgot who Zoro made a promise to. Like, okay, they won the sword from Suishu.
Yeah.
They won the Suishu. I can't even say the name right now, but they won the they won the Ryoma sword and I can't even say the sword. Well, so he was like, hey, I'll give it to y'all, but I want to go to his grave after.
Yeah.
Zoro said something like that. Maybe Ryuma, he could
I can't even remember. Oh yeah, that would be amazing. There's just so many potential. I mean, across many different arcs and everything. I mean, there's so much evidence towards that being a thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, even Kuina could somehow play a role because she's connected to, her father, Koshiro, and clearly that's connected to Wano. So even that, for all we know, could play a role somehow. I mean, there's so much potential.
We gotta get Zoro backstory before the end of the arc. Like we gotta get something. We gotta get like some like Zoro was an orphan from Wano, or I don't know, because like maybe he's Ryuma's great grandson or something. Like, bro, we gotta get something pertaining to Zoro's history, his history pre Luffy. How he ended up in the East Blue, unless he's from the East Blue.
He has parents or like we don't know any of that.
Yeah.
Maybe he's a prince. Maybe he has like 4 other brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
That were he's clones of and stuff.
I kind of hope that. Don't do that again. Don't do that again. Nah, but yeah. Yeah, we gotta get something with Zoro.
Oh yeah, and of course, with souls playing a role, who knows a perfect person beyond my background. Big Mom, who knows where that could go? She's a soul fruit. We got Brooke here. I mean, it's just endless potential.
Yo, you just said something that could put things together for me. Cause like I've heard people talk about Big Mom being redeemable. Yeah. So if she learned that she ate, let's say Mother Caramel comes back, and she learned that she ate Mother Caramel and all those kids, maybe like, because I know people used to create theories saying like fixing Big Mom's memory, but she never did. So if she meets Mother Caramel and learns that way, that could lead to some redemption possibly. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I don't know if Big Mom is redeemable, but
so what's funny is your revelation just gave me a revelation, which was, Big Mom
Inception.
Earlier
in the revelation.
Earlier in the arc, Big Mom, she did a sovereign. That thing. And she destroyed this tree. I cannot for the life of me remember what chapter it was.
The one that Sakazuki or Suzuki was on?
Yes, he was on it. And she destroyed that tree. And someone was like, something, it was some kind of spiritual ancient tree. And that makes sense for so many reasons.
Yeah.
First of all, we're already talking about how the spirits can play a role in this. But and there was in the Skypiea arc, they were talking about one of the old societies. It was the one that was kind of like the Native American one.
The Chandrians?
Yeah, those guys. Back when Nolan was still alive. They were, I think it was that, or they were referencing that, and they were talking about how the trees carry spirits, and the trees guide spirits and stuff like that.
Yeah, because he was cutting the trees
that
down.
Can even play a role. Yeah.
Because the trees was poisoning the land or something.
So that even might make a comeback.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Oh, I got it right here. I was looking for it. I'm gonna get them just to show the stream. Yeah.
Somebody said Zoro meeting Ryuma or Kuina.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Salamander Red. Yeah, yeah, man. Like, I always thought like maybe Koshiro killed Kuina, but
That'd be real sick. I don't even know. Well, One Piece might go that far.
Bro, I just
killed his own daughter.
I don't believe she died from falling down the steps. Like, really? Like, bro, she died. She a trained samurai. Better than Zoro at the time, you know? And she died from falling down the steps. Like, I don't know who took a bigger L. Kuina dying from... It's probably going to have to be Kuina, but I was going to say her for falling down the steps or Shanks getting his arm bit. I'll give Kuina the L, though, because Shanks at least, you know, his was more of a symbolic thing, but... but
yeah, that's...
I think she was pushed down the steps by her dad. That's what I think.
Jeez.
I mean, because he even said, like, well, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I don't have the chapter memorized.
Yeah, there's definitely something weird about it. That's for sure. But I guess is there anything more about anybody coming back in Souls and stuff that you have to?
Oh no.
So I guess we can talk about CP0 a little bit. Do you have any speculations?
You could say go on Mary too. Like maybe Mary might come back.
That would be the most. I think that'd be the most surprising.
Yeah, but as far as CP0.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. I think I did have something about CP0. Like I had a topic about who's who that kind of dealt with CP0.
Okay.
But nothing like solely on CP0.
So I guess wouldn't that also lead into like Sun God territory and stuff?
No. I mean a little bit, but you know, not like it's not about that topic. You know, it's just like, you know, it's mostly just dealing with who's who. You know.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess before we can get that, we can just talk in general what we're thinking of the battlefield, like the matchups and stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah, man. Like, you want to read some questions, some comments, some chat?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, let's read some.
Someone made a comment about Zoro, so I guess we can start with that. What Zoro's on the battlefield going to be doing? But they said, with Zoro taking the mink super recovery drug and the animal realm being one of the 6 realms of rebirth in Buddhism, is it possible for Zoro to receive a beast power up during Wano? Feels random otherwise since Marco and Chopper are there. So I find that to be a very interesting take. Just for one, creatively wise, that'd be cool. But 2, that kind of can go along well with my theory from a talking point.
Yeah.
So I think one of the last following the weekly chapters was about how I think Zoro is developing his own devil fruit. And his devil fruit would be a zone. It'd be like the human fruit model. It'd be a mythical human fruit model, Ashura. So having it have like the ability to transform, not just grow like extra arms and limbs, would definitely be a mythical attribute, because most mythicals don't just transform you into something. It gives you like special abilities and stuff like that. So I think that'd be such a cool, like he could have the six paths. He can have a different path giving him, like he'll have a base transformation, which is just the extra limbs and heads. But then he could have six other branching transformations, or
Yeah.
maybe even just abilities. That'd be so cool. And it makes sense, given that they're using mink medicine, maybe that could unleash some beastly uh power in him. Who knows? Maybe even Chopper gives him a rumble fruit.
Yeah.
I mean that that would be weird, but maybe he just
I
eats
never
one by
thought of
accident or
this.
something like that.
Yeah, that's an interesting theory. I never thought of that. I don't really have anything like now. It's just things starting to click. Not starting to click, but like just starting to think about it. But yeah, I don't know, man. That's interesting. Like Zoro having like a almost beast type level up, maybe. I
Hmm.
mean, like you said, if he's taking like these animal, the mink medicine or whatever, it could. Yeah, like, dang, man, that's something I had to really sit on though.
Yeah, when I
Like,
start
I had to
talking
sit on
about
something like that because that never even crossed my mind. No
yeah,
power up like that.
when I start talking more about like potential of hockey and stuff,
Uh-huh.
I'll start talking about that more later on. But that'll Joy Boy theories says something interesting where he says because Zoro is following along Buddhist, uh, clearly his abilities are based on Buddhism. They have this idea of like suffering leads to enlightenment and stuff like that. So the more pain Zoro endures, or there's moments where he just endures a whole bunch of pain, all of those matters and are stepping stones to him gaining greater power and even enlightenment.
Uh-huh.
So him taking this medicine, and they say, "Oh, you're going to be in even more pain after taking this medicine." It might not just be a nerf for him down the line, but it could also lead to him unleashing some kind of newfound power.
Yeah. Yeah. That's that's interesting. One like I don't. Right now, I'm just kind of like sitting with sitting with all that.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like that's interesting though. Like your idea of like being able to make devil fruits.
Mm-hmm.
Like would you have to die and
No.
become a devil fruit? Like how do you?
Oh well, yeah. I would think it's not the devil fruit itself; it's the devil in the devil fruit,
Mm,
and that's just your soul passing on to that fruit. It may not even be strictly just your soul; it could just be a part of your soul that contains that power. Maybe a different part of your soul leaves behind that power but goes on to the afterlife. That's even possible too.
yeah, yeah.
And I'm actually going to bring that up later on, actually, later when we start talking about the sun god.
Okay, all right. Got any more?
Oh my god, I'm looking at like stuff that I always I take like snapshots of certain things that it's
Mm-hmm.
like I might not have a fully crafted theory, but I know somewhere along the line it's gonna be relevant. So one of the things I have here is Voices of the Gods. I'm just looking at it, like, oh, that's gonna be relevant. Even
Yeah,
now. I
yeah.
just decided to just look through it randomly. But ooh, I might show some little behind the scenes to the stream. What does it look like for me to gather
But
all these manga panels?
yeah, man, that's a lot of research to go through all those chapters.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're good at that though.
it's
Definitely.
fun though because it's like I'm also rereading One Piece, and that's always fun to do.
Yeah.
Someone said, "Will Oda ever bring back the Club Ultraman concept?" I don't think he has to bring it back. I think it's always been here. It's
Yeah.
just he's just waiting for that moment to show, oh, there it is. It's relevant again. I think I've always said if you look on my stream right now, it shows the cursed sword theory. I actually talk about the Club Ultraman because I think cursed swords are just the spirit or Haki of the swordsmith, right? Just to as easy as I can explain it is black blades, they become black because they have the Haki of the swordsman. You know, like if Odin or Ryuma puts their Haki in their sword, it'll turn black. What makes a cursed sword could involve the swordsman to some extent, but what I think it actually involves is the swordsmith. That's what makes the cursed. And this concept of putting a soul being inside of something isn't new to One Piece because of the Klabartumen. It's always hard to pronounce that, but you know we've seen the soul inside of a ship, and
Mm.
Big Mom is always Big Mom shows that concept to a T because she has a sword with a soul in it. She has a ship with a soul in it, and it's like all these concepts I think can be related. If a ship can have a soul in it, why can't a sword? We've seen it with Big Mom. We've seen it with the Club Ultimate. So it only, you know, you start connecting enough dots and
We've
it all
seen
makes
it.
sense.
We've seen it with weapons with devil fruits.
Yeah, precisely.
Yeah. Yeah. Like Frankfurt, I think Spandam sword, and
Yep.
I forget which
Baroque works,
Baroque
remember?
word. Yeah, but yeah,
Yeah, she had the
the
dog.
dog. Yeah, with the rocket launcher. I was just watching a little bit Alabasta last night. Like
Mm.
if you if anybody, if y'all like go on Pluto TV, there's like a One Piece channel where it's just they just play One Piece episodes all day. They got a Naruto channel as well. They got an anime channel, so Pluto TV. You know.
Yeah. The other day I was just so bored and I just put on some random because on Netflix you can play shuffle and it'll just give you some random. And I sat there and I watched like 3 episodes of Naruto filler and I was just bored, so I actually enjoyed it. It's
Yeah,
funny. Like if I was watching it, if I deliberately tried to watch, I would have skipped it. But because it just randomly watched, I was like, oh, this is entertaining.
bro.
That was just
Sometimes
a
I just put
little
on,
aside.
bro. Sometimes I just put Pluto TV on, and sometimes like I'll look at the anime channel, and sometimes they have like JoJo Bizarre Adventure. Sometimes they have Hunter x Hunter. You know, they have like different ones, and I'll watch that, or I'll watch like One Piece or Naruto, so and just let it play, and just in the
Yeah.
background.
Since we're off topic, I'm gonna read a comment I just got. It says Pluton is a black ship from a cursed club Ottoman. That would be funny. It's not only cursed, but someone put arm in hockey and it made it black.
You know something about Pluton? Like what I heard, like it was a theory that like the Sunny is kind of a smaller model of Pluton. You know, like I heard a
I've seen
theory
that.
about that.
Yeah, I don't think so. Cause I feel like Frankie has so much pride in his originality, he wouldn't want to do that. That's just my take on that.
I think I think Frankie. I mean, how they explain it in the theory that Frankie just kind of took some of the concepts of Pluton
Hmm.
and put it into the Sunny and
I
just
could
made
see
it his
that.
own
Like
thing. You
just
know.
like he wanted to see like he just almost just like in a textbook way, like he's
Yeah.
just learning their trade. I could see something like that. If it's just straight up like this is my version of Pluton, I don't think he would
Yeah.
do that. But
But
if he's just like taking hint like tips from them, I could see
but it
that.
could the Sunny could actually be better than the Pluton in some ways. Like the
Definitely,
Pluton might be like
especially if it gets
big
its
and
own soul.
yeah, like Sunny's a lot more mobile and it might not be as destructive, but you know it's better in different ways. I could see it being
Oh my
like
god, I can't wait till Frankie reveals that Sunny is a Megazord and
that.
it has its own soul, so it becomes a new crew member, like officially, like is actually can fight alongside them.
It turned to a Megazord. I kind of
There
hope it
was
don't go
another comment.
that. Cause I remember on Black Clover, like there was a part where their little hideout turns into a little Megazord looking thing,
Oh
and I'm
man,
like, this is so outlandish.
if Oda did it though, but he wouldn't do it in a serious. He'd be just like it would be like a funny
Okay,
thing he would do well. I can imagine. Somebody made a good comment about Luffy's power level, or like it was kind of like what you were saying, how you don't think Luffy's strong enough. Gotta find it. Okay, Luffy can be equal with the Yonko when he meets Buggy again. That to me makes perfect sense. Just because Buggy is probably a rival, maybe surpass Shanks at this point.
Just because Buggy what?
He probably a rival and surpass Shanks at this point.
Oh boy. Buggy surpassing Shanks.
Oh, that's a good matchup. Someone says, you know how like Blackbeard pirates, we expect them to all match up, like get their 1v1s with the Straw Hats. Someone says, you know, Sanwan Wolf, he's called a battleship. So he'll be the opponent of the study.
Would it be Frankie and the Sunny?
The,
like who's gonna be?
No, just the Megazord Sunny all by himself.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
It works.
Megazord Sunny. I always think about the Black Bear Pirates matchups with Straw Hats, you know, because we know that, like, even though I think there's only 9 captains, I think if you go to the Black Bear Pirates Wikipedia, it's called the 10. I think like the 10 Titanic captains of Blackbeard. Even though he only got 9, I don't know if he includes himself, and I don't think ELiDZ is included either. But like,
I doubt it.
But
he could always recruit. We could always see a return of certain people we thought we wouldn't see again too.
Yeah. So just thinking, if he'll have a crew of 10 guys, right? Well, 10 people. Him being the 11th one and ELiDZ being the 12th, but he's kind of like a drifter almost. And then you got Luffy, and what he only is 9 Straw Hats outside Luffy. We got Zoro, Sanji, Jinbei, Frankie, Brook, Robin, Nami, Chopper. Did I say all of them?
I'm gonna just take your word for it.
I feel like I'm missing somebody.
Honorary member VV.
I feel as though Yamato makes 10 though. You got Zoro, Sanji. Man, I'm having a brain fart right now. Somebody let me know, bro. Somebody let me know in the comments. But yeah, so I always think about like the matchups of the Blackbeard Pirates and Straw Hats. You know. Because we know it's going to be Luffy and Blackbeard. And then I like to think Zoro and Shilu. But some people think it's going to be Zoro and Burgess.
No way. Come on.
I guess some people feel as though Burgess is higher on the hierarchy than Shilu.
I think they say Burgess is his right-hand man or something like that. But don't they say the same thing about Jack? And like,
yeah, they did.
It's not like Zoro's fighting Jack. I don't think right hand man always has to mean you're the second strongest. You know, I'm sure when Odin was in Whitebeard's crew or Roger's crew, he wasn't just considered the right hand man just because he was probably stronger than everybody else. Maybe not really, but it's not always. I don't think it's always strictly the right hand man has to be the strongest.
I guess somebody like explained to me, they was like, look, I guess their theory was Shilu was like Zoro would take on Burgess, right? And Burgess being the second strongest, because you know their assumption is Zoro always takes on the second strongest, so he would be taking on Burgess being the second strongest, and Sanji would take on Shilu, who has the invisible fruit. And you think Sanji has a history with the invisible fruit? You know, he fought dang, I'm bad with names right now. Absalom. He fought Absalom back in Punk Hazard, or not Punk Hazard. Bro, I'm super off today. He fought Absalom, and then he also got like his he has a suit. He has a race suit as well. So and that goes invisible, and they was like, it'd be
So
dope to have an
what are
invisible
the
fight.
panels gonna be? Just us seeing the background?
I seen like invisible clash.
Yeah.
That'd
I
be
have
pretty.
my doubts.
What y'all think in the chat? Y'all think
That would be funny. I could imagine doing that, Oda doing that for the sake of a joke. Just have only backgrounds and voices.
Somebody, Salamander Red said Frankie versus Burgess is too manly of a fight to not happen. I kind of agree with that. I kind of like. I would think they're probably like, who would be stronger than Burgess that could take on?
Frankie's a good one, and I think Jinbei's also a good one.
Well, yeah, I was thinking Jinbei as well. But I'm saying who would take on, who would Sanji fight?
Oh, Sanji? Oh man, that'd be a good one. You have to.
Like, let
Maybe
me ask
that Lafitte guy, because he's sort of like gentlemanly.
Yeah,
I can imagine Sanji fighting that guy.
Let me ask you something. I got a question for you in the chat. Everybody in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Now that Jinbei is part of the crew, right? And also Zoro got a power up. Sanji kind of got a power up.
Mm-hmm.
What would y'all say is the top tier hierarchy of the Straw Hats? Now, let's throw in Yamato just in case, because it seemed like Oda is building Yamato to be another Straw Hat. So
it seems like it, but I don't know. It's too early.
Okay, I'm not going to include. Don't include Yamato. Just Jinbei. Is he higher than Zoro? Is he between Zoro and Sanji, or is he like behind Sanji? Like what
I would say I would put him behind Zoro currently and permanently, because Zoro and Sanji have way more potential than Jinbei. Jinbei's a very seasoned pirate. You know, he's been in this for a long time. There's only so much you can improve after a while.
Yeah, he's old, a lot older.
Yeah. He could be around Sanji, but Sanji definitely has the potential to surpass him probably after this arc.
Yeah.
He did make light work of. I mean, I wouldn't say it's completely light work, but he kind of owned who's who. It really wasn't too much of a struggle for him, and that was a Toby Robo.
Yeah.
But it's like the CP0 said. I mean, like they were like, he might not survive because he's fighting Jinbei. Like, they put a lot of respect on who he is and his title. Mm-hmm. So Jinbei's not one to mess around with. I mean, he was able to block a Yonko, Big Mom. I mean, she was kind of nerfed, but he's not just anybody. He can hold his own. He has a lot of experience, and that more than anything, it's like experience versus potential. That's what it comes down to, really, more than anything.
I kind of looked at it like, I feel as though going into Wano, or let's say in the whole cake, right? In the whole cake, I would probably say Jinbei would have been ahead of Zoro and Sanji. But I think after these upgrades, I think Zoro and Sanji might either be equal to Jinbei with the most likely potential to just get even, like surpassing the state and just increase that gap, or they're already stronger than him.
The thing about Jinbei, I'm just realizing, is there's Jinbei. He's a situational person, because it also matters how much water is there.
That's true.
I mean, if they're just in water, Jinbei wins.
Yeah.
If they have, like, maybe they're fighting on a lake, there's half water, and then it's kind of a toss-up. If there's not a lot of water, then that's when I think Zoro can have that sort of decisively, and Sanji right now it's more of a toss-up.
Yeah.
I feel like Sanji, he's someone that gets tripped up a lot. In Jinbei, he's very seasoned. He has a lot of experience. So I feel like he could catch Sanji off guard.
My thing with Sanji,
easier to catch off guard than someone like Zoro.
My thing with Sanji? Sanji has a tendency of fighting characters that's just way stronger than him. So that's why his showings are always low. Because he just fights... He fights characters that outclass Luffy at that moment. Like, he clashed with Luffy or Doflamingo. he was like the first person to clash with Doflamingo, the first Straw Hat at least. He clashed with Virgo back in Punk Hazard, and you see how with Virgo, Virgo was troubling both Law and Smoker at that time, and he's come out the end. I ain't gonna say it was like he got beat up or nothing, but like I think he almost broke his leg on one of the clashes. It's like, like he takes L's from guys like way stronger than him, but like the whole like post time skip, the only person we see Zoro fight was up till Wano. I think the main fight that he really got was Pika.
But you could argue for plot reasons, and especially if you're a really big fan of Zoro and you're biased towards him, you could argue that all those characters that were strong had to avoid him to not be defeated.
You can argue that. You can argue that. Salamander Red said, Water Luffy, Enraged Nami, Gold D Usopp, then Zoro, Sanji, Jinbei, and the rest. Enraged Nami.
I can imagine that.
I mean, Nami was like
Water Luffy in a long time.
Nami was probably the first confirmed Haki user, honestly. If we're being serious, definitely. Like she was putting damage on Luffy.
The way they describe, Oda jokingly describes why Nami can hurt Luffy in a gag moment is actually, I think, similar to how Arm and Haki works, where he says something like Nami hurts his heart or something like that, and that's why it's like she's hurting his spirit. And ironically enough, or maybe not ironically, that's what he was going for. I think that's how Arm and Haki also works, is that the reason why you can hurt a Logia user that's made of fire is because you're not really hurting their fire body, but you're actually hurting their spirit.
Yeah. I mean, when Garp was introduced, he gave Luffy that punch of love, now we know that was clearly Haki, but
Just the love.
Man, I miss Garp, man. I need some Garp in my life.
Yeah.
Garp need to come back in the story somehow. I'm gonna just say that. But yeah, all right. You wanted to move on?
Yeah, we could talk about who's who, and then Sun God.
So you ready to go into some of the topics?
Yeah.
All right. I kind of wanted to throw in this, like this. I was having a conversation earlier. Somebody brought it up in the Discord. Hey, you should put the link that Discord, and you know what I'm saying. Link the Discord. But yeah, we was talking in the One Piece Discord. Somebody said like, what was special about the gum fruit? And I wanted to kind of get your take on what was special.
So
why did because one thing he said was like, he was like, oh, well, why is there so much protection on the ship that Shanks, and why would Shanks attack a ship? That's kind of like not Shanks's character. Like these are kind of points he brought up, and I think one point somebody brought up was maybe it was something special about the previous user, and kind of touching the Sun God. Some people say he looked like he could have like the Gumu no Mi. So that was kind of thrown out there, like maybe it belonged to the Gumu no Mi, which makes it special. There were some other things said. I didn't really take much stocks in those. One of my ideas was it's really nothing special. It was just, the government just protects the devil fruits that they have, right? Because they wouldn't want normal people in the world having devil fruits or other pirates getting these devil fruits. And maybe that specific devil fruit was being taken to somebody. And Shanks caught wind of the intel and was like, "Yo, I want that devil fruit."
So those That's one of the easy ones where it's just like it's just the devil fruit. You know, it's special enough just off the basis of being a devil fruit. Um, but there could be more to it. So then that leads to the second easy answer, which is the previous devil fruit user, the one right before it. And people go, I see the main two ones is Roger and Rox. Now, I'll say the Roger one seems a lot less likely because I would lose a lot of respect for Oda as a writer if we found out 1,000 plus chapters in that Luffy just so happened to have the same devil fruit as Roger and no one decided to mention it.
Yeah.
And also, it'd be kind of lame. It's like, we already saw one guy become the Pirate King with that fruit. We got to see another guy do it. It's like, I think that'd be really lame. Also, I just don't think Oda would ever do that. It just doesn't make sense. You know, nobody has ever mentioned that Roger just having the same devil fruit. Rox makes more sense because he's more of an undercover guy. Like, there's people of a certain generation that don't even know who Rox really is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a lot of young Marines, they've never heard of Rox. You know, there's probably many Straw Hats. If anybody knows of who Rox is, it'd probably be like Robin, maybe Jinbei, but I'm sure they don't know who Rox is. Like, they kind of erased him from history a little bit. So it makes sense if it was him. I don't think it is, but it would make sense.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I like to think that Roger don't have a devil fruit. Me personally, I like, he's like one of them characters who just badass, But yeah, so which one are you? Which one are you thinking?
Oh, okay. So for me, well, I guess on one avenue, it's like, I just think, I guess I would have to split up, but I'd have to start with this. One is that it's something important specifically to Emu, because it seems that uh, the Cipher Pole agent, who's who, and nobody else has mentioned what is important about the Gum Gum fruit. So it's like, no matter what the reason the Gum Gum fruit could be important, no one has ever brought it up. And why is that? It could be something as simple as, well, maybe they kind of erase it from history with Rox, but even then, it's like, Kaido is Rox's, he was his, what do they call it?
Project.
Just the ship boy. Yeah. He would say something. He would mention, like, somebody's gonna mention it, no matter what the reason is. As long as it's something that's public, they're gonna mention it.
Yeah.
So maybe it's something that only specific person really knows. Like, maybe only Emu and Nagorose and even Shanks, because Shanks seems to have some weird connection with them. Maybe those few people, and maybe even Blackbeard, are the only ones that know why the Gum Gum fruit is important.
Yeah.
So then, to that, I divert. Either it's a reason we don't know, and we're gonna find out later, that has to do with something more relevant in time, or it's something to do with the past. Void Century, Joy Boy era type thing.
Yeah.
Maybe one of them had the fruit.
Yeah.
And that kind of leads into my reincarnation devil fruit theory, but we'll talk about that later. To read a comment, it says the Gum Gum fruit was important for Vegafunk's gigantification experiments.
I was about to point that comment out.
Sense.
Yeah, that dude. It has actually. It's actually a great theory. Like,
yeah.
I was thinking, I was like going to read that one because I was reading some of the comments.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense.
DJ Red comment said Yamato isn't going to be a Straw Hat because of the national popularity poll. Yet, honestly, there really isn't hierarchy during wartime for the crew because Brook fought Big Mom first. Well, that's confirmed.
That's true.
Brook the GOAT.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait to see more from Brook.
Look like Salamander Red. Look like you're gonna have to change your hierarchy around and add Brook. But yeah, go ahead. Oh yeah, but I kind of. So
I just want to, before we move on, I do want to read this comment. Dressrosa would have been over faster if Fujitora didn't stop Zoro from killing Doflamingo. That's fact right there, without a doubt. You can't even debate that. Yeah, he was about to kill him right there. And Fujitora, he's an observation, uses future sight. He's like, no, that's not good for the plot. Stop it. In fact, I'm confident that that's the whole reason Big Mom is even there, fighting with Kaido, because without her, Zoro would have killed him long ago. So everything that these people are saying, especially Salamander Red, it all adds
okay.
up.
So if all this is true, then what does that say about Mihawk?
Mihawk is Emu. Don't you see the eyes? They don't make sense.
Hey, bro, I'm gonna let y'all know Mihawk my favorite character. So y'all just y'all just gassing Mihawk up. So hey, I'm down for it. I'm down for it.
Yeah, I know. I really can't wait to see Mihawk. I mean, Oda's been saving him up for so long. It's gonna pay off, no doubt.
Why do you think like Shanks targeted that ship? Like, do you think that kind of plays along as at Emu wanting it, so Shanks kind of wanting to take it from Emu, or do you think
That's what I'm guessing, because Shanks, ever since we saw the Review arc, it completely changed Shanks as a character, really, because it just goes to show like he's not just, even back when we knew he was on Roger's ship, that gave him some importance, but the fact that he could show up to the Gorosei, it changes everything for him, because it, one, puts his alliance into question, but two, it shows that he has deep connections. I mean, he could literally just go on to the place where the celestial dragons live and go up to the top guys. I mean, the second top guys. But yeah, clearly there's something a lot more to Shanks than just being someone from Roger's ship.
yeah?
So,
Because
yeah, I wouldn't put it past Shanks.
I'm of the belief, honestly, I'm kind of the belief that, like, I don't know, man. I just, it's like one of them, we don't have enough information, because to me, it could have just easily been like, hey, devil fruit, like devil fruits are a rare commodity, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
I wouldn't even be disappointed if it was that. It would make sense.
So like the world government was they might have been transporting that devil fruit ability for like a special officer, right? And Shanks gets a whiff of the intel and be like, hey, there's a devil fruit on that. He's still a pirate. Let's be real. He's still a pirate. So and he's growing at this time. So he probably need more like resources. So he decides to hijack the ship, take the devil fruit.
Yeah, I mean, a pirate doing what pirates do. I mean, there's nothing weird about that.
I mean, I'm not against it being a lot deeper than that though. It's just as of now, I don't really have enough information, and to me, it could have been that simple. You know what I'm saying? It could just be that simple. But yeah, that's all I really have on the speciality of the devil fruit, the gum devil fruit.
Before you move on, I'll read this. I was joking, obviously, when I said the Big Mom is there because of Zoro. But Salamander Red did point out that when Big Mom said dodge Kaido, she could have saved Kaido from being beheaded, basically. So there is that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's. So are we saying Zoro's stronger than Luffy?
Oh boy, that's a toxic that usually. I mean, that's a topic that usually doesn't end well. It's a toxic topic.
Yeah.
No, I don't think he's stronger, but I do think he has the potential to defeat Luffy in a 1v1. It's just fighting game logic. In fighting games, there's this thing called matchups. You might be a higher tier character, but you might lose the matchup.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think because with Kaido, I think Zoro was kind of a bad matchup for him because Kaido's the type of person who just tanks damage. From what we see, he'll let you punch him around and slice him around, but blunt attacks for him probably don't really do as much as, let's say, a slice. A slice with Rio behind it. You know what I mean? So yeah, Big Mom probably knew that if he would have got hit with that attack, it would have done a little damage on him. She probably
Yeah.
sensed the real on it, you know. But I also want to talk about, since we was kind of talking about like the whole ship situation. I want to talk about like who's who and the redeemability of who's who.
Yes.
You know, and a lot of people probably say redeemability. Why would he be redeemed? I think he could. I think they're kind of setting up like, because CP0 is talking about like killing him if Jinbei doesn't finish him off, and I don't think Jinbei's going to kill him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think the Straw Hats might end up protecting who's who. Maybe Jinbei might protect.
That would be interesting. Yeah.
And I think maybe he might look up to like, maybe he might, because think about it. We learned that who's who was asking about the Sun God, right? Because he was put in the kind of a position of these slaves, like he was being tortured. Maybe he started believing in the Sun God, right? And what if he sees Luffy or perhaps Usopp? And there's a reason why I'll say Usopp. Yeah. I'm gonna explain that a lot later. Maybe he might see them as the Sun God, you know. So he might like be willing to kind of almost turn to a follower.
No, Usopp's a good guess. I've seen that, and it's not a bad one. Yeah. We'll get into it, but I'll just say this now. I think it might not be either, but we'll get into that.
I get it. Yeah. But I'm saying like he might look at them as it, like he might be like, oh, maybe he.
No, definitely, without a doubt.
He's the God, and also you think about who's who probably despises the world government, so that almost gives him a out to almost, want to team up, want to ally with Luffy in order to get back at the world government. Do you see any redeemability within who's who?
Definitely. I would say damn near the whole Tobiropo except for the Spider Lady. They all have redeeming qualities.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look, you just got to look at their circumstances. The whole reason they're in Kaido's crew is because they were beaten into submission. It's not like they're so loyal, like they believe in Kaido and his faith, and it's not like how the Straw Hats look at Luffy. It's more just like, well, he's a strong guy and he beat us up. Now we're part of his crew. It's nothing except the only one who seems to be super loyal is
Black Maria.
I can't remember her name. Black Maria.
Maybe Ulti.
The other ones just seem like
maybe Ulti.
Ulti was bad mouthing Kaido a little bit,
but she seemed
before
like
Kaido showed up.
She seemed like she's just comfortable with him. She just seemed like she's super comfortable. Like she could just say whatever.
It's not the same level as Black Maria. Like Black Maria seems like she's hooked.
I think Kaido
Ulti just seems like she's along for the ride. Like she's gonna, because it would be kind of lame if they were just completely like against Kaido. It's like, why even be in his crew if you're just gonna be like, they're Tobiropo for a reason.
Yeah.
So her being like gung ho and like being ambitious, I don't think necessarily means she's so invested in Kaido.
Maybe their relationship is something kind of like if you ever follow like Darth or Star Wars, right? Like Darth Sidious and Darth Vader. Like Darth Vader hates Darth Sidious. You know what I'm saying? Like Darth Sidious, matter of fact, he wants Vader to hate him, and he like does a lot of stuff to Vader to make him hate him even more and push to want to defeat him. And that's kind of how all the Sith been like in like Star Wars lore. They're like, it's an apprentice and it's a master. You always got like two Sith lords.
The rule of two.
Yeah. And so the Sith master basically like garners this hate within the apprentice.
Yeah.
So the apprentice could later
like
defeat him.
And
I feel like Kaido kind of does that might do that with his crew. Like he pushes them to want to defeat him, but they know they can't, so they stay in line.
I could see it. That'd be a very cool dynamic. I mean, I do like the way the Beast Pirates are set up. where
Yeah.
it's like Kaido is just like, if you're strong, he's just cool with you no matter what you do almost. I mean, that's not even just for his crew. I mean, look at with Luffy and Kid. He like let them get away with so much because he's like, "Oh, you guys are strong. I want you to be a part of my team." So I do like that dynamic where
Yeah.
he's not gonna just kill you outright. Uh, so about the redeeming qualities, to keep it, I said the whole thing, but to keep it specifically to who's who, uh, I think this even branches out to not just who's who as a character, but who's who as a cipher pole agent. Because as despicable as Rob Lucci is, and he's just a killing machine. He likes killing. He enjoys it. At the end of the day, he is somebody that was either sold or kidnapped and has been brainwashed since he's been a child. So, on one hand, he does evil deeds of the government, but on the other hand, what choice does he really have? He doesn't really have free will. He's owned by the world government.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, he's what the good guys are fighting for, to save. They want the world to be free. They want the people to be free. And as bad as Rob Lucci is, he falls under that. And Who's Who obviously falls into that. He's a more sympathetic character, but I just wanted to use Rob Lucci because he's an extreme example. But that just puts into perspective how redeemable Who's Who is. His entire life has just been either being a slave or a criminal or a prisoner, or he's on the run, and even now the CP0 still trying. Like, he's a very sympathetic character. What choices he had in life to not live a normal good life? So definitely he's redeemable, especially if he looks towards Luffy, or God Usopp, like the sun god that they are, or at least he believes them to be.
You think we could get a Lucci versus Who's Who somewhere down the line?
That would be interesting. Lucci would definitely win. It'd be a great way to show how much stronger Lucci has gotten.
Yeah, I kind of feel as though Who's Who might have a better devil fruit. Him having
definitely, he would have a better devil fruit, but
Who's Who?
Lucci has the better training.
Yeah, maybe maybe Lucci might want a rematch with Luffy, and then Who's Who will show up and be like, "Hey man, let me take care of this." You know what I'm saying? Because it seemed like Go ahead.
I was gonna say there's a potential for a really funny dynamic between Luffy and Who's Who, because Who's Who has always lived his life in submission, so he might feel like he's submitted to Luffy, but Luffy's the antithesis of that. He's just all about freedom. So I could see a funny dynamic between them where he's just like, "You're my master now," and Luffy's just like, "Ew, no, get away from me. Just be your own person," something like that.
I got two questions for you.
Yeah.
Or not two questions, but two situations I remember. Who's Who said there was somebody he wanted to kill, right? There was a man. He said this back in like the beginning of the raid. At first, I was thinking it was Queen, right? I thought it was Queen or one of the commanders.
Yeah.
Then I thought maybe it was Hawkins, or not Hawkins, X Drake, because X Drake was a traitor. And now I'm starting to think it could possibly be Lucci, like Rob Lucci, and kind of playing off of that, there was a I'll have to go back. I have to go back and look it up. But there was a moment in the manga where Lucci said he asked Luffy, he was like, "Hey, aren't you going?" Like, this was when that bombardment, the Buster call started, and Lucci was like, "Hey, aren't you going to go help your crew?" And then Luffy said, "I can't. If I let you go now, then I won't be able to defeat you later." He said something like that. Like, he said,
you'll kill all of them.
Yeah, you'll kill them. Yeah.
You'll kill them all.
If I leave you," and then Lucci said something like, "Oh, I know a certain somebody who could learn from you." So I'm thinking, like, was he talking about Who's Who? Because that is some foreshadowing.
The easier, obvious, more simple answer would be Spandam. But it's now been opened up to it possibly being Who's Who as well.
Bro, that would be some crazy foreshadowing from Oda, or you know, some crazy setup.
So to me, the person he can be talking about, there's two options for me. Either he was talking about someone more relevant that he actually has an opportunity to kill in that moment, which would be Luffy because he's there. If not Luffy, then it would be Shanks. Like he's just ambitious. That's just his goal in life is to one day kill him.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, those are the only two. The third option,
Are you talking about who's who?
Yeah,
I don't think it was
Luffy
Luffy at that time.
or Shanks.
I don't think he knew Luffy was coming when he said it.
Oh, okay.
Because this was when they was talking about Yamato, and everybody thought like the alliance was defeated. I think.
Okay. Then yeah, no, it wouldn't be Luffy. No. So then, to me, if it would be Shanks or possibly someone out there that's like a higher up that we don't know about in the world government.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the only two things I could think of at this point.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm gonna read some of these comments. DJ Red comment 369 said the Gorosei told Shanks about the location of the fruit. And then he said, why would Shanks sacrifice his arm? And he said, nah, Zoro.
Biggest mysteries.
Yeah, I don't know what the, you know. He said because he was betting on the future, but I mean I don't know why he had to sacrifice his arm to bet on the future.
Okay, I see. So that inside of that Sea King's mouth was a time machine. So at some point in the future, he's just gonna grab his arm back. It's gonna be his final battle against Mihawk.
He had
to. Never see it coming.
He had Toki's devil fruit.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, the Sea King ate Toki's devil.
He sent it to the future. And then Luffy gonna be or Shanks gonna be in the middle of the fight. And he's just gonna like, This is gonna show up. He's like, I knew it would show up right there at that moment. Cause I got super observation Haki.
Yeah. Oh, now we know to the extent.
He can see decades into the future. God damn. Mm-hmm. And then DJ Red comment 369 also said, now Zoro said he will only follow a strong captain. And he's still following Luffy. I don't know though. Are you talking
Luffy
about
is strong, and I think Luffy is stronger than Zoro. But I also think that Zoro has the potential to beat him 1v1. But Luffy being overall stronger is the point of a captain. You got to be the strongest in most situations. Yeah. But it's like Luffy said, he wanted Zoro because he wanted a swordsman because he doesn't use swords. Zoro has a skill set that he doesn't have in battle.
I mean, if you think about it as a captain, you don't have to be the strongest. You just gotta be able to lead. I mean, you gotta be strong for people to respect you, of course. But
there's very rare scenarios where I think that's true though. As an example in One Piece, I think the one that comes to mind is when Shiryu joined Blackbeard. In that moment that he joined, I would have said Shiryu was stronger than Blackbeard. But I'm sure over time Blackbeard got stronger than Shiryu.
Like, bro, I don't think you would follow Zoro like you would Luffy. Even if Zoro was clearly the stronger one, like there's people who could be strong as hell, but they don't make you a great leader. You know what I'm saying? Like Spandam was weaker than all of CP9. He still was put in the position to lead them. That's within a bigger organization.
Pirates,
huh? Yeah, you're right.
They're not pirates. They don't follow the same rules.
I mean, but like all I'm saying is like I feel as though Zoro could be slightly stronger than Luffy, and it would still make sense for Luffy to be the captain because people want to follow Luffy. You know what I'm saying? So it's like Luffy's just. It's weird that he's a good leader, though he's an idiot.
Yeah, well, he has a heart of gold.
I feel as though Luffy is a genius in many ways, though. Like he understands people's emotions. You know what I'm saying? Like he knows what to do for people at the right time. Like I was watching Alabasta, and it was I was watching a few episodes yesterday, like I said, and it was one of the episodes where he like punched Vivi,
Mm-hmm.
like he was fighting Vivi, but like she needed that though.
Yeah.
She needed that little kick in the ass, you know. Luffy he just knows what to do at the moment, you know. And when it comes to fighting, the man's a genius, you know, because he like fights on the fly. Salamander Red said, "What do you think the final Straw Hat crew would look like?" Huh?
I really do hope Vivi comes back. Um, I think she has a lot of weight when it comes to like plot and where the story could be going. It'd be cool to see like a representative of royalty, you know, real royalty. You know, Sanji doesn't really count. They're just like a makeshift kingdom full of their own clones.
Yeah.
But like to see someone actually a part of the world government go rogue and being on a pirate ship, probably something would happen to her kingdom that would make her have to leave or something. But I think
Yeah.
that'd be cool to see something like that. It'd also be, you know, go down in history. You know, the new pirate king's crew had a former princess of the world government. I mean, if Cobra dies, she would actually be the next in line. She would literally, you know, be the queen, I guess, of that Alabasta. So it'd be really cool to see something like that on a pirate crew.
Yeah. I mean, what? There's been pirates that have been kings. You got the I think the one of the members of Blackbeard was the king. The what's his name? I forget his name, but I forget which one of the members it was. But I think one of them was a king back in the day.
We'd have to
It
know
was
how important.
it was the one who
There's
kind of
levels
like
to it.
Kaido. It was the one who
Yeah, I know what you
with the horns. I forget his
Yeah.
name.
There's levels to it because some kings might just be like the leader of a village, and then you have the ones that are allowed the reverie. So we'd have to know what type of royalty that is. But yeah, there's definitely been true. I mean, what's his name? Kuma used to be a king too.
Yeah.
It'd
And
just be cool to see on a Pirate King's crew.
yeah. What I think though, what I think how the Straw Hats may look. I mean, I know somebody said Yamato's not joining, but I think either Yamato and Carrot or Carrot will join. I think that's possible, and I think Oda's been kind of like pushing Yamato kind of hard. Like it's been dropping hits. You know, usually when Oda drops hints, he's usually setting it up for a reason. Like Yamato says, like, "Hey, I'm leaving to the sea." You know, what does Yamato have to stay in Wano for? You know,
So
like what would her purpose be if she doesn't join?
that's funny. I just thought of that. You know, if let's say Luffy claims Wano, because that's what certain Yonkos do, and Wano needs protecting, Luffy might ask Yamato, "Hey, could you stay behind and protect? You're part of my crew now. You're part of the Straw Hat. You know, you're a Straw Hat now, but I need you to stay here and protect Wano because Wano's a place that the world government wants really bad."
Yeah. I mean,
So it'd be funny though, and it would be symbolic too because that's what Kaido wants. Kaido wants Yamato to be a shogun. So it would be interesting to see her end up doing that, but of her own free will, not being
Yeah.
forced by her dad, but making that choice on her own for Luffy.
yeah. I mean, some people believe that Momonosuke, like she might end up as Momonosuke's retainer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and if she's the retainer and he end up going to Laugh Tale with the Straw Hats, she's gonna be with him. But
Yeah, I've seen
I don't know because I'm kind of the beliefs that Momonosuke needs to stay in Wano to lead. You know, like there needs to be a Kazuki in Wano, and
Yeah, I don't really see a reason for Momonosuke to go to Laugh Tale.
yeah,
Not
like,
right
me
now.
neither.
I don't. There's. I mean, what to read? I don't even. We don't even know if he could read the poneglyphs.
Nah, yeah,
But they already have Robin, so maybe something happens to Robin. But as of right now, it doesn't seem like there's any real reason for Momonosuke to go with them.
Yeah. He already has Odin's journal, so he probably
Yeah, that
knows
could be the
everything,
reason.
you know. So
There could be a message in there or something. But other than that,
and I know a lot of people say like, you know, like some people say, well, Hiyori could lead Wano. I don't know. Like I don't know if because usually in like like old cultures, right? Like old Japanese cultures or European cultures or Asian cultures, like they usually want a male heir. You know what I'm saying? Like as sexist as that may sound, that's how cultures usually work. Like they wanted a male child to be the heir of the. So I don't know how it would look for Hiyori to be the shogun.
yeah. Well, we
Unless
know
she's just
Wano
the
is
acting
a
shogun.
sexist country. Like
Yeah.
that's how they introduced. That's how Kinemon was introduced. He's like, oh Nami, you immodest woman. So we already know that that's the case. But it could just be a revolutionary choice.
Yeah. But yeah, that's with that though. So but yeah, that's all I got for who's who and the devil fruit. You want to start getting into some Haki stuff?
Yes, I would like to do that. So I guess we can stick actually to who's who and Jinbei.
Yeah.
To start off with this Haki, since it's the most relevant, which is the fact that we're seeing two fighting styles go up against each other, and both seem to be utilizing Haki a lot. Now, you could argue it's just Haki amplifying the fighting styles. But the thing is, for one, these fighting styles were already present before we realized how Haki would work. And they were utilized in a way very similar to Haki already. And the way these techniques are being used in this fight is it's just seemingly incorporating Haki as if it's just the same thing. Well, one thing that wasn't mentioned in this fight, but I'll mention it now, is that um, Jinbei, he name calls his armament Haki. Very rare. You rarely ever see that happen. But he calls it shark skin. And that is reminiscent of Iron Body because it's just like they're just calling it out. If someone he has arm in Haki, they wouldn't really even need to call out Iron Body. And if Jinbei has arm in Haki, he doesn't really need to call it out and call it shark skin, but they might just call it out because that's part of how they learned it. That's how they learned Haki was through this martial arts. In fact, I'm not sure if I should do this right now, but I did have a little video to play of mine just to go over that a little bit, which was showing why, even in the data books, it hints that Rokushiki is in fact a Haki martial arts. Like it's not even a fan speculation. It's an official data book. It says, well, Haki is a martial arts.
So it's been confirmed.
In one version, it says similar. I mean, to me, it seems like it's confirmed. If you don't mind, I can play a little bit of the video right now, just the first part that goes into it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So hopefully this will play. I've never done this before. Yeah, it's muted. Oh, I see why. Yeah, audio capture.
Is it playing or?
Gotta fix the audio. Hopefully it works.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Why you fix it?
I'm gonna play it right now.
Okay.
Can you hear it?
I can't hear anything.
Oops. Okay. Yeah, it's playing.
I hear it now.
Okay. Since I'm talking a little, I'm gonna play it back, but I'm just gonna explain real quick. You can see on screen, I'm referencing the Vivery card data book, like it's an official data book. So just to no interruptions, I'll play it again. It's only like the first minute and a half, I think, that I'm talking about it.
I can't really hear anything though. Is it playing?
Oh, you can't hear it?
No, I can't hear anything. I heard it at one point, but then it kind of.
Hmm.
Just a theory, but it's
I hear it now.
Oh, you can't hear it.
I just heard it, but then I couldn't hear it anymore.
It's playing on the stream, that's why. The viewers can hear it.
No.
That was my bad. I didn't realize it. Okay. So pause there. So basically, the Vivi card made a correction. At first, it said Rob Lucci didn't learn uh, Haki until after the time skip. Then they made a correction. They went out of their way to re-edit it to say that his Haki strengthened after the time skip. I mean, that shows this. They deliberately have a reason to make that for the present story, meaning it's going to be relevant to show that Rob Lucci had Haki before the time skip. And then another thing says like the training of Rokushiki is utilized similar to mastering Haki. Like it's just what I call it is different paths to the same truth. So you could train in Rokushiki and eventually you'll start developing Haki. You can train in Fishman karate and eventually you'll develop Haki. There's just different ways to go about training towards getting Haki. And then I call it like traditional Haki is the way you go about just the regular, the way Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, just getting armament, observation.
Mm-hmm.
And Conqueror, well, Conqueror you can't train that, but that's just the traditional Haki. And then you can go about doing Haki in a different way, which is Rokushiki.
Yeah.
This will start training you to specialize in armament Haki. And if you notice, Virgo is someone who is super good at armament Haki with a caveat. He's super good at just the basic version of armament Haki.
Yeah.
You know, back before we knew about advanced Haki, we would look at someone like Virgo and go, oh, he's really good at armament Haki. But now that we know you can do so much more with your aura, we go, you know, he's actually not that good. I mean, he didn't even get advanced. But the reason I think Oda designed him to be that way, because it seems kind of ridiculous. Why would Virgo not learn that type of Haki? It's because it didn't suit him. He didn't learn Haki in that same manner. He specialized in Rokushiki, so he's gonna learn the basic armament Haki.
Yeah.
Because that's what Rokushiki is. It's just the maximizing the like just being efficient and learning that armament Haki. One of the things I draw comparison to a lot is Gear Fourth. If you notice, Gear Fourth utilizes a lot of Rokushiki techniques.
Yeah, it does.
One of the things that kind of goes unnoticed a little is what is that technique? It's called life return. And in life return, you're able to control, you know, your limbs, even your hair. We saw Kumadori. He could control his hair. Well, if you notice, Luffy is able to control his limbs. He can literally talk to his fist and be like, chase this guy. So it's very similar in that sense. And I think that that's because he's utilizing Rokushiki through his arm and Haki. So there's this concept called biofeedback. That's what a chopper called life return. And biofeedback is based off chi, and Haki is also based off chi. I mean, the ki in Haki literally means chi. If you follow Dragon Ball Z, they call it ki. Well, that's just the Japanese word for chi. So really, they're just using chi. So you can actually make a link between Rokushiki to biofeedback to chi to Haki. It's interconnected.
It makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I never heard of the biofeedback one, but you learned something new.
Yeah, that's what Chopper calls it. Because like I think I have a panel. This probably comes before it. So if you see here, you can consciously control every part of your body, even your hair, Chopper says. I read about that. I read about something like this in a book. It's called biofeedback or something.
Yeah.
So, yeah, biofeedback just means you can control your body at will, which is something that Luffy does in Gear 4, especially in Snake Man.
Yeah, when he has it follow you.
So here's something you might say, well, why is it that Marines that are like Vice Admiral learn Haki, wouldn't they teach that to the CP agents? Well, everything is efficiency. It's like if you ever played a game with a skill tree, like an RPG where you have stats. Like you can specialize your stats in just armament Haki, for an example. That's what they're doing with these agents. For one, is that they have to specialize in armament Haki. But also, there's a misconception that you have to learn Haki, but you don't. Everybody has Haki. It's just life force. In fact, here we have Blackbeard saying to Luffy, "You're stronger than I thought, and your Haki is stronger than the last time I met you." The last time they met was in Skypiea arc, way before Luffy even learned what Haki is. Like, he doesn't know what Haki is, yet Blackbeard is referencing. Oh, my bad. I just realized. We're covering the video. It took me a while to realize that, but yeah, he says your Haki is stronger than the last time I met you. I mean, Luffy he never learned about Haki. So it just goes to show that you don't have to know about Haki to even strengthen it. So yeah, it is possible that they were strengthening their Haki even back then just through the applications of Rokushiki.
Yeah.
And you can unconsciously use Haki.
I mean, Luffy used Haki. Like, I remember Luffy and Zoro.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to get technical, even by your explanations, Sanji as well, because you could go back to Marineford when Luffy encountered Mihawk, and it's almost like he used Future Sight. A lot of people, they kind of overlook that, but like Luffy seen that if he would have attacked Mihawk was going to chop his arms off. Yeah. Like he seen that clear as day, and he pulled him back. And
exactly, I use that example a lot.
I want to say a lot of people don't consider this, but I kind of see it as it's kind of like like when Luffy fought Anel, right? And he did. I want to say he did. Was it called Dumb Luffy or Lazy Luffy or something?
Yeah.
Luffy. Like, and he just kind of went like limp, and then he just kind of was moving and just like naturally moving, almost like Ultra Instinct, where it was just like his body just moved. That's kind of like what CP9 agents do when they kind of like dodge. When they turn their bodies into paper and just dodge. And then Zoro, he used the he used a former Rio. He used a former Rio in Alabasta when because remember he was fighting.
Breath of all things.
Was it the breath? Yeah. When he when he went back to his master teaching him like, hey, you could cut anything, but and also nothing.
Yes, and by the way, chi, right? We go over chi can translate to ki. In English, chi translates to the word breath.
Yeah.
So it all adds up.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Cause I think like the last episode of One Piece kind of show you this. Like you look at Luffy, Sanji, and Zoro, they all have they all have kind of a nose or ear. Like Zoro was able to smell alcohol, like for things that they like, right? Like things that they really cherish. Like Zoro could smell alcohol from like long distance. Sanji could, yeah, he could hear when a woman's in trouble, you know, and Luffy could smell food from like,
yeah,
you know, that's almost like they got like observation Haki or you know some type of.
I say that.
Yeah.
In my theory, I say that. So there's 7 chakras, right? That's what I have shown in the background of this. And of the 7 chakras, they're on a spectrum. So that spectrum goes from physical to spiritual. And in the middle of that spectrum is the heart chakra, which I believe to be what's it called? Observation Haki. And so that's in the middle of physical and what would you call it? Spiritual.
Yeah, you got the screen block.
Oh, that's my bad. So because of that, observation has both physical and spiritual properties. So the physical is the senses, the 5 senses. It can amplify. I can hear women. I can smell beer. Things that I like that mean something to me. That's what I think applies to the physical aspect of art and Haki. That's why I think the heart chakra is that level. And then the next is the third eye, which is like future sight and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah. On the topic of arm and Haki, of how different ways it can be displayed, one of the things is I think Haki reflects how you are in almost personality in addition to your fighting style. So if you notice, according to my theory, the physical base level of arm and Haki in Rokushiki is like just strictly earthly. It's just almost you devoid of spirit. That's why they can't hurt Devil Fruit users. Because that's another thing. It's like if Rokushiki is Haki, how come it wasn't hurting Luffy through his rubber ability defense? That's because they're using a strictly physical Haki. Rayleigh, when he's explaining how it is Devil Fruit users get hurt by
Haki?
Haki, yeah. He's saying that it's the aura around them that actually hurts them. This was all the way back before we even were learning about advanced arm and Haki. He just goes to say it's the aura around you that allows you to hurt somebody. Now, if you're using a strictly physical version of Haki, you're not activating that aura. You're just, making your body super tough, which has its benefits when you're using Iron Body or Shark Skin. You just need your body in that moment to just be super tough. Or like when Doflamingo tried to kick Luffy, or when he's using Tank Man. There's reasons why you would want that.
Yeah.
So there's benefits to that, but the bad thing is that you can't use it to hurt somebody.
Yeah.
When they have Devil Fruit or if they're Logia. But if you notice, when someone is like that, like a Rokushiki master, like Virgo or Lucci, they're emotionless. They don't have that heart, really. That's the bottom tier of root chakra, the earthly. They're not emotional. They don't care about anything. They almost are devoid of their own personality. I'm just showing a picture of like what that when Rayleigh was talking about the aura around them.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he's saying actually hurts the dough for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think this even reflects if you look at the pacifistas, they're like iron-bodied people.
And that's what
They're
Nami.
also robotic and don't have free will. If you look at the CP agents, like I said, iron-bodied, devoid of free will. Even look at the Vinsmokes, and devoid of free will and emotion. It's just a consistent trend in these what would you say, pursuit of power. You notice.
So that's what Nami does. She loses her
Was she
emotion
an iron
and
body?
then she
Oh
loses
yeah,
her
no,
emotion.
I do think even though that's a gag, it does show like that could be showing you how that works. It's their aura, it's their emotion that hurts a person. I mean,
Yeah.
why do you think Haki gets empowered by emotion?
Yeah.
It's like when Jinbei in this fight, he got more worked up and then just like turned the tables of the fight.
Yeah. So we got Rokushiki and Fishman Karate both using aspects of armament hockey, right?
Yes, okay. So that leads me into my next thing, which is like the next chakra is called the sacral and it has the water element, just like Fishman Karate. And I don't think that's a coincidence.
Okay.
So I think I cut you off.
No. Go ahead.
Okay. So what's interesting is if you look at a character who's first shown really using that advanced arm in hockey, shoot, I can't remember their name. It's that Kizaru's buddy. That has the big axe.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
he's the one who
we all know what I'm talking about.
Like a sumo.
If we look,
it's shoots and Maru.
Shuten Maru. There you go.
It's like it's kind of like it's like shooting Maru.
If you look at Shuten Maru,
I don't think it's shooting Maru. I think shooting Maru is Ashra Doji, but I think it's something like that. I think they got similar name.
Somebody's gonna tell me in the chat. But it's right on some screen right now. Great coincidence. Anyway, that character, they use advanced arm and hockey, and they also specialize in defense. And if you notice, Sentomaru, there you go.
Sentomaru, yeah.
Sentomaru.
I knew it was something Maru like.
Has a very similar look and body type to Jinbei. And who Jinbei also focuses on defense and doing Fishman Karate, which is like a projectile and like a wave of water. But in my theory, like hockey is like water in a way, especially at the advanced. I mean, when what's his name?
Not Sentomaru.
No, there's so many names to remember.
Yeah, I know. I'll be forgetting too, bro.
The right-hand man of Roger.
Rayleigh.
When Rayleigh is showing off, the aura that he says hurts people, he says it's a fluid like aura, like water, pretty much. So I think it's not a coincidence that someone like Jinbei and someone like Sentomaru have a very similar fighting style, very similar body stature.
Yeah.
There's a reason. It's because Fishman Karate, I believe, is also like hockey, or is a hockey martial arts.
Yeah, it affects like the water in somebody. From what I was saying.
So then the third one is the solar plexus, and this is gonna be a sweet and cool transition into the sun god because solar.
Well, I had a topic about this hockey.
Oh yeah.
You want me to say that before this since you wanna?
Nah, because I'm gonna start moving on to sun god stuff. But so yeah.
So say, okay. As far as hockey, what about impact dials?
Oh yes,
because that's something that Oda never really, like it was real big in the pre-time skip because Usopp got it was almost like something that was introduced almost as a power up for Usopp at that point. But it almost, like it's able to bypass Devil Fruit. At least in Luffy's case. I can't say it would do the same for like a Logia user.
Yeah, no, definitely. And you know what? It was perfect. So I'm gonna actually display my screen.
But I kind of, I just had a quick theory I kind of want to say. It could be, like my thoughts on it is it may be a way to replicate, like almost a way they found to almost replicate armament Haki or just Haki in general,
Okay.
And you think of like the impact dial is a spiral, right? Because it's like shells,
exactly.
So it's like that spiral, and you think of like a lot of when it comes to life, people tend to associate it with spirals, like going into Gurren Lagann, where it was like about spirals, the Spiral King. Luke, if you go to Naruto, right? Naruto has the spiral. The Uzumaki clan has the spiral. Him having wind is he uses spiral. So
just look at Big Mom's Jolly Roger. That spiral's all on it. The spiral for the sun, spiral for the water, spiral for the air. It's the different elements. And guess what chakra means?
Spiral.
No, it would have been cool if it was, though, right? No, it means wheel, so it's close enough. I mean, you brought up Naruto, right? And they use chakra. I mean, there's a reason that, there's a theme to that, to Naruto having a spiral on his back and all that stuff. More than just being Naruto. In fact, fun fact, Sanji's name was almost Naruto, and look at his eyebrows. Damn. There's the spiral effect right there. So you are right on point with that, with the whole spiral. So here's a little behind the scenes of what does it look like to make these Haki videos that I make. So I got folders, and if you look in the folders, they're just full of all different stuff. Like I have here, you were just talking about it earlier too, the Fist of Love, and I got all that stuff.
Yeah.
But so on the outside here, I have stuff that it's just like I've thought about it, but I couldn't figure out where to put it. Most of it's probably just gonna go in my fourth Haki video. But I have impact dials here.
Yeah.
I put this here like last year because I did look at it and I was like, man, there's something to these impact dials. Like it hurt Luffy, and it look at the way it looks. You can't see the impact dial. It literally looks like advanced armament Haki.
Yeah.
It's like no way a simple like block like that could hurt you. Because he's rubber. It's like how could rubber man get hurt like that? It destroys the body from the inside, just like advanced armor Haki.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely hope Oda really kind of bring back the relevance of impact dials,
Impact dials could even have elements in them. Yeah.
Yeah, because it could hold sound, it could hold, like you could record stuff from what I remember. You could, I forget everything, all the uses, but it was like, super technological events that Skypeans had.
Yeah. So there's spirals, and then there's also ripples, are also a circular phenomenon, we'll find. And what's interesting about Skypiea, so much about Skypiea, some people look at Skypiea like it's filler or something, but there's so much in Skypiea that is going to be relevant later on. So they call, the bell on Skypiea is called the island singing voice. And you can see the ripple effect all around.
Mm-hmm.
And voice is also what we call Haki. It says the sound has a message, and I talk about this in part 3. I talk about how like the message is the final element. The element of thought is the advanced conquerors Haki.
Mm-hmm.
What was it here? Some gods.
Are we doing the transition from the solar plexus to?
Yes. Oh yeah, voice of gods. There we go. Perfect transition. So solar plexus is the third element that I believe is a fire-based element. And I believe this will lead to symbolism for Luffy. And I talked about this in a video called Sun God. Well, no, it's actually, the video is interesting because I start out, you look at the thumbnail and it shows a dragon on it. And I say, will Luffy learn dragon powers? And it originally started with me thinking, maybe Luffy will learn how to get dragon powers and call his form Dragon Man because, it's dragon. But towards the end of the video, I take a turn and I say, after thinking about Dragon Man, thinking about, I also say Sun Man and Monkey Man because there's reasons why it could be monkey themed because it's like the Monkey King. Like Goku flies on his Nimbus because he's a monkey. It could be Lion Man because a lion has symbolism with the sun.
Yeah.
If you notice, Hold'em, he has a fire breathing lion for whatever reason. I mean, it doesn't really make sense, but it does make sense when you realize that a lion is symbolic with the sun. So I'll play a little part of the video, that part where I start talking about the sun, just to give a better frame of reference of why me seeing the sun god, got me excited because it actually seemed like it was giving some kind of relevance to my theory. Hopefully it's playing. I can't tell. Oh no, it's not playing. I needed it. Oh, unfortunately, it's not gonna play for you, Sean. So I was like, his straw hat kind of makes it look a little like a lion man, but that was just a stretch, but I put it in anyway. But his laugh is she, she, she. She means lion. So that was just a little brief of what it looks like. Once I start bringing up the lion stuff, I start talking about the sun because a lion is symbolic of the sun. Another thing you notice about Wano is that there's a bunch of fire themed animals for whatever reason. Like, what's up with that? And then you have the fire festival. There's just fire all over Wano. So then I go into reasons why that would make sense for Luffy to gain fire abilities in that sense.
Yeah. Have you ever went back and checked like the Skypiea art? Because it has a lot of references about the Sun God.
Yeah, like once.
Like, if you look at chapter 253 and chapter 300, I couldn't tell you the page, but it's both of them were very similar because they're both dancing around the fire. And
oh yeah, I got that.
If you see the silhouettes, they kind of look like the same silhouette as Nika, right? And they're dancing around the fire. And then there's other references of like I mean, the sun god of Skypiea was that big snake. I forget what the snake's name, but they call that the sun god. So on there it's a little different, like they didn't use Nika for the sun god. They used that snake. But then you if you look at I want to say his name, it was a Rider or Swiper. I forget. He was like the Shandarian leader at the time. He has a sun tattoo as well.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And there was like a cover page I seen where there was like, it was like, I want to say shields. I want to say they were shields with like with the sun on it. But I have to find it. I'll have to find the reference. But like I think Sky Pia really kind of brought up the Sun God, but I'm not sure if their Sun God was the snake, and if he was still relevant to Nika. Yeah, and you see, I think one of them it was both Luffy and Usopp silhouette.
I think there is one with Usopp.
Yeah, Usopp and yeah.
I think, but I don't remember it being with both of them at the same time.
I think it's the one where they was dancing with the wolves. Hold on, let me see.
While you're doing that,
Trying to see if I could find it. And I wanted to talk about the Sun Pirates connection with the Sun God Nika. Since because when you look at when you go back to the chapter, where Who's Who and Jinbei is fighting, and Who's Who is basically saying, asking Jinbei like, are you familiar with it? And Jinbei is like, why would you think I'm familiar with it? And he's like, your history as a slave, your people's history of being slaves, and it was slaves used to pray towards the sun god. So I'm thinking of the Sun Pirates, right? And I kind of think like Fisher Tiger, was he like it? Is he looked at as Nika, or maybe a someone who carried Nika's will, like because you look at the semblance of Fisher Tiger to the legend that we know of the Sun God Nika, and how he was said to free slaves. And then you look at Fisher Tiger, who actually did free slaves, from what we know, and he's also connected with the sun because he was the captain of the Sun Pirates.
Yeah, perhaps he knew about the Sun God Nika, and that was his way of also paying tribute.
Mm-hmm.
They did give a reason why it's the sun, something about like the Fishman Island doesn't really get to see the real sun, so it was almost like an ambition type of thing, where maybe one day we'll lead the fishmen to the sun, to the surface. But also, now that we know about Nika, it adds another layer on top of it.
Yeah. And do you think Jinbei, do you think he believes in the sun god? Like, do you think
I'm sure. To some degree. I mean, if he was part of the Sun Pirates, he led the Sun Pirates.
Yeah. And cause like I think Jinbei might have I could see the fishmen being like worship. I could see like there being a religion among fishmen, or a belief among fishmen for this Nika being, and it kind of makes me segue into the tattoo that the Sun Pirates chose to roll with. We look back in the story, their reason behind the tattoo was just to cover their slave marks. The markings that the celestial dragons put on them to show that they're property. So but the Sun Pirates kind of did that, and everybody got them. So you don't know who's a slave or not. They're all just Sun Pirates. So I'm kind of just thinking of the origin of that tattoo, right? And of choosing us the son of of all things they could have went with. You know, I mean, I guess you could say the sun would be easier to cover up that specific type of tattoo. But do you think maybe, you know, it was a like homage to the sun god?
Yeah, now that all we know in hindsight, it's seeming like it was definitely, they must have known something to specifically pick that.
Yeah.
Right now, it's seeming like it has some link to the past that's gonna present itself in the present. So how will that go about, though? Is, you know, it would seem like the sun god would have died by now. I mean, the only way the sun god would be alive is if that person's immortal, because they seem like it was from centuries ago. So it seems like the sun god either left their mark on history or may even come back in some kind of spiritual form.
Yeah.
Whether it be a literal ghost, reincarnation, you know,
Now that you said
whatever of the likes.
Now that you said that, it just kind of made something spark in my head. Maybe the sun god can live through other things, right? Like think about it. You know, maybe, you know, as wild as this sound, right? Okay, before I go to that, maybe the reason why they called that big snake the sun god, maybe the sun god inherited the snake at one point. You know what I'm saying? And maybe it can also do inanimate objects. Like
like possessing.
Here's one. I'm kind of going to check at you. It might sound like a stretch, but I'm gonna put it up there anyway. The Sunny. I've actually heard somebody. I've actually heard somebody come up with this theory. So it's not like, but you know, you saying what you did kind of say, like what you saying what you did kind of made me think like, it kind of made me go back to that theory. What if the Sunny? Because we talked about how the Clobberton and could have been the spirit of Mary. Maybe the spirit of the Sunny is Nika. You know,
that's a good one. I didn't thought about that.
A lion face. You said it right. Lions. What is the Sunny? It's a lion, right? With a sun mane. Sun mane. I'm just saying, man.
Yeah, it works.
I'm just saying. You know, I had some other theories that I'm gonna bring up as well, but you know, but I'm thinking the Sunny might be a candidate for inheriting the will. You know, and you think about it. You know, the Sunny will be there to. Wow.
Hey, I mean, even the fire festival with the spirits coming back, Nika could be one of them.
Think of this. What is Sun God Nika known for, right? For freeing
laughter and freeing slaves.
Right? Now, there's a popular theory that Luffy will bring down the red line. Right. Hence, there's a prophecy saying Luffy's going to destroy Fishman Island, right?
Yeah.
What's above Fishman Island? Red line, right?
Yep.
So if he brings down the red line, he's bringing down Fishman Island. But think of it this way. I mean, maybe that might not be a good one, because I'm thinking like the sun god freeing slaves, right? He's freeing people.
Yeah.
If Luffy and the Straw Hats destroy, like what can destroy the Grand Line, or what can destroy the red line? Like what's one
powerful, like a ancient weapon or something?
What ancient weapon specifically?
I guess you're gonna have to go with either Pluton or Uranus. We haven't seen Uranus yet.
Yeah, we have it. So but I'm looking at Pluton specifically. Pluton specifically. Now, Pluton could possibly bring down the red line, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I also said earlier that the Sunny could potentially be a mini version of Pluton. You know, like maybe Frankie used the schematics to help use the Pluton schematics that he probably remembered before he destroyed it, because he's a mechanic, so he probably knows this by heart.
Yeah.
He's probably the only person to know how to build Pluton, or that could build it. You know, maybe he's already built. Maybe the Sunny is Pluton, or a version of Pluton. Maybe the Sunny will bring down the red line, in a sense, freeing the slaves, or destroying the world government. In a sense, freeing the slaves and liberating the fishmen from their oppression, making the Sunny the Sun God Nika.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean I never put two and two together, like, but it makes sense because I have thought, like, what if the Sun God was, helping out Fisher Tiger a little bit? He was like possessing Fisher Tiger a little bit, helping him out free some slaves.
Yeah.
I've also incorporated my reincarnation of the devil fruit theory, thinking, well, how could this play a role in the past? What if the Sun God was the original Meter-Meter-no-Mi? He was the original fire human. And like I said earlier, what if they split their soul up? Their power becomes manifest as the devil and the devil fruits. And then there's just a part of their soul, their non harmless soul, that just carries their essence, like their consciousness.
Hold on. Salamander Red said my sound is off. I don't know if.
Could have been from my I think I know what it was from. A harmless soul that just carries their essence. Okay. Okay, can you try talking now?
Hold on. Yeah. Now I'm talking.
Yeah, I think it fixed. I got fixed. My Bluetooth, I had to switch to these clunky headphones. I didn't realize it would turn off the sound.
All right. Is that better, Salamander? I'm not sure if you're still with us, but let me know if that's better. I'll kind of summarize my theory that I just said to him. I just want to make sure it sounds good on your head. I'm gonna look at the playback just to.
Clunky headphones. I didn't realize it would turn off the sound. We've been going so long. My thing ran out of battery.
Yeah, I think I'm good. I hear it. So basically, what I said, okay, the Sunny, as far as the Sun God potentially being Sunny, right? Because like Elijah was saying how you think of the Sun God, you think of the sun in lines, right? Like one sun line we know of is the Sunny, and I made a theory about the Sunny possibly being Pluton. You know, because Frankie's the only person who knows how to build Pluton. Because you know, I think he remembers the blueprints in his head. So when he was building the Sunny, I kind of believe that he possibly put a lot of the Plutons, like a lot of Pluton into the Sunny. You know, I think that the Coupe de Burst is kind of example. I feel as though, you know, you see how powerful the Coupe de Burst is, and the front cannon that they got is kind of like the front Coupe de Burst. So just think about this. Like, we know that the Sun God liberates slaves. Now, if there's also a theory going on that Luffy is going to destroy the Red Line, which will also go in line with the prophecy that Luffy is going to destroy the Fishman Island, because the Fishman Island is below the Red Line, and if he destroys the Red Line, he's going to indirectly destroy Fishman Island to, in a sense, fulfill his prophecy of destroying Fishman Island. If that's the case, what is he going to destroy the Red Line with? You need something big. You need something like an ancient weapon such as Pluton. Now, if Sunny is Pluton, maybe if like they use the Sunny to its full capacity, because maybe they're just not using it to the full capacity because they don't need to, you know. But if they use it to the full capacity, maybe they can destroy the Red Line with Sunny. And if that's the case, Sunny would be the cause of liberating all these slaves. Or just liberating, you know, everybody that's oppressed by the world government or the slaves, whatever. Because it'll probably end up destroying the world government or severely handicapping them to where they kind of lose control. And so the Sunny will be almost fulfilling the role as the Sun God Nika in liberating like the slaves and the fishermen. That's basically what that's basically the theory that I said while I guess I was muted.
Oh, my bad. Got it. Thank you, Salamander Red, for letting us know.
Yeah, I appreciate you letting us know, Salamander.
Next time I'll figure out how to get the chat on my screen at the same time.
Yeah, we'll figure this out. I'll help you sometime.
Thanks. So my theory about Sunman is he could possibly be from the past, in the Void Century. And I always like to think of like how my pre-existing theories can like factor in. So with this whole devil fruit being the reincarnated beings of people from the past, the ancient kingdom and stuff. It doesn't have to be specific to the ancient kingdom, but it's just somebody who became like a Haki master, who became enlightened, and their soul, or at least part of their soul, went to a devil fruit. Mm-hmm. The part that, you know, had their power, their Haki. You can almost think about like Haki is the voice, and then there's just chi, their breath, their soul. Like how Brooke once, little cloudy ghost. So you can think like the harmless thing that really has no power, but just has their thoughts, which is a power. Consciousness is a power. In fact, I say it's like the ultimate top of the chakra frequency. But you can just think of it as just the harmless, not exactly observation conquers raw power, could have split off. So maybe part of their soul is the metanomy. That somehow was part of the sun god's power. And even that would be somewhat of the sun god's will being passed on, because the person who has the metanomy now is a Sabo. He's part of the revolutionary, and they want to free slaves. So even that would still carry on. And then possibly, you know, his soul can still affect the world by possession, like you were saying. You know, maybe it possesses the Sunny, maybe it possesses Fisher Tiger, maybe it possesses Luffy in this fight against Kaido. Nika helps out Luffy a little bit. You know, guides him in the right direction. You know, may not give him a power boost, but lets him know how he could utilize his own power. Um, so on the screen you can see it says Gear Fourth Sunman. So I made this theory like months ago about what I think Luffy's next form will be. Well, since then I've kind of revised and said it could be Gear Fourth Sunman, or maybe it's called Gear Fifth Sun God. Maybe the Gear Fifth has, you know, this god, that god, instead of blank man, you know, tank man, snake man, bound man.
Mm-hmm.
It might be a god to represent, you know, going to that next level. So that could be how it factors in that sense.
Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah. So as far as, because you brought up Luffy, you know, what about Joy Boy? Like, what do you think their connection is? And do you think Luffy is either maybe, because I think a lot of people will kind of just want to say like Luffy carries on the will of Sun God, but then a lot of people think he carries the will of Joy Boy. But would they be the same person, or are they two separate people that he's carrying both wills, or like how like where are we doing with this? You know, or is Nika not either?
So there's so many ways this could work. One easy thing is that Joy Boy is Nika, the sun god. They just are the same, one and the same. Another is, you know, the Joy Boy is a title theory, where Sun God Nika was a Joy Boy. Or maybe it was Joy Boy was one of the people possessed by the sun. You know, so it can work so many different ways. Sun God is Nika, Nika is Sun God, this, that, and that.
Yeah.
Another way it could work is that they just are two different people, and perhaps even their crewmates. Maybe Joy Boy was a captain and the Sun God was one of his crewmates, which lends to the whole Usopp being Sun God.
Oh, I like that, because that's gonna be my next question I bring up.
All right, I pass the ball to you.
I'm gonna let you rock with what you were saying though, because I just I had a little bit, because my belief in Joy Boy, I kind of believe that Joy Boy is a code name. I don't know if it's a certain person or if it's like a certain individual that comes around, that carries that will. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like, a reincarnation, but you just carry this being's will to where, like, that's kind of what I was thinking. But Nika sounds more like a person, like a specific person, like the sun god Nika, not like Joy Boy Johnny or something. But you brought up they could have been the same crew, which I kind of like that idea, because it does kind of connect with my theory about Usopp's connection, right? Because like, why do I think that Usopp could be okay, hold on. I'm gonna read this. I'm gonna read Salamander Red's comment. He said, if Luffy is the reincarnation of Joy Boy Nika, I'm convinced that Kishimoto is ghostwriting for Oda. Hey, bro, I kind of don't. I don't want it to be both either. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, I'm not completely sold on it. I have faith in Oda that, let's say he did go that route, he could do something to make it work. But I'm not too sold on that just yet.
I mean, unless Joy Boy was the sun god, like, let's say if the sun god was one of the Joy Boys or something, like, if it's something like that, like, it's like Joy Boy being a code name for, like, many great people during their time, and Nika was, like, the great person of his time, and he was a Joy Boy or whatever, maybe I could see it, but then Nika would still be Nika and not Luffy. Luffy is a Joy Boy, but not Nika specifically. Like, maybe something like that, But talking about Usopp, right? Like, when Usopp was dancing around, he was silhouetted, I think, in the one where they're with the wolves. He was silhouetted just like Luffy around that campfire. And then you look at he's considered a god. Like he kind of has a like. I wouldn't be shocked if Joy Boy Nika wasn't like the crewmate of Joy Boy, or not Joy Boy Nika, but if the Sun God Nika wasn't a crewmate of the Joy Boy, and he just happened to get these titles. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like how Usopp just happened to get the God Usopp title, you know, for freeing all the Dressrosa, right?
Yeah.
You know, and I could see like at the end of the series when everything's said and done, like Luffy has liberated the world and all these things. I could see Usopp getting credit for most of that. At least from the slaves. At least by the slaves.
Okay. At least
like
by the slaves.
by the slaves, like the slaves, like
Buggy.
Yeah, or just how Usopp
Buggy
free.
is Joy Boy. He's a clown. Right?
But nah, think what happened in Dressrosa, right? When Usopp saved all the people from being toys. He already has history in liberating. You know, so he actually might liberate slaves, like, you know.
That is true.
And they call him the Sun God. You know.
I mean, Soga King's maps does seem kind of like sun themed a little.
True.
We got a good comment here.
So we got Luffy as Joy Boy, Usopp as Sun God Nika, or the Sunny. But go ahead.
Oh yeah, another thing I was saying was how like it could be the meta. That could also be symbolic if Joy Boy is like Luffy and like maybe Sun God is kind of like Luffy. Maybe they're just bros, you know, Sun God and Nika. And that could also relate to Luffy because his brothers have the meta. So there's also potential in that.
Yeah.
So Salamander Red asks, do you think there's a connection between Wano and Shandora? One is the country of gold and the other is the city of gold. That's a great point. And I also want to add to that, Fishman Island, I think there's also a connection. Yeah. But first, with the Shandorans, first though they had a poneglyph in gold, right? That means that they deliberately, it wasn't like it was either it was delivered from Wano to them as a gift, making them so special, like they had it in gold.
Yeah.
Or they made it there. Maybe they had some Kozuki members or someone from Wano there at the time, and they were literally making that poneglyph right then and there. Yeah. I can't remember if it was specifically a poneglyph in gold or if it was like just encased in gold. But either way, like clearly there's a collaborative effort going on there. So there must be a connection. It can't be as simple and simple as, oh, someone just forgot their poneglyph here. It's like
I think
something meticulous going on there.
I think all the countries with poneglyphs probably have some type of connection, or at least most of the major companies or countries. You know, I think Alabasta probably, you know, like in some way, you know, like there had to be something special about each of these countries where they say, let's put a poneglyph here.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think Skypiea or the Shandorians, it stands out a bit. They kind of got, maybe one of them had a crush on one of the Shandorians, want to impress them a bit more or something, but clearly a little bit extra effort went in with their poneglyph.
Yeah. Well, the Skypiea one's kind of pushed up to the sky.
Yeah.
From Jaya, you know.
I think he's pointing this out because of the picture I have up too. This is one of those old Shandorian priests. He says, "Do as you please, old Pentori." And I'll be honest, I don't know who that's referring to. I got this like a year ago, probably a year and a half ago. I clipped this scan, but it says, "Old Pentori is dead now." Probably one of the other priests or something. And I don't have the power to hear the voice of God, so I think it's very interesting, given what we're talking about now. And then there's another. It says, to be completely accurate, it was this stone. So if you look at the bell, even the bell seems to have some like, it almost looks like poneglyph design a bit to it.
Yeah.
And the bell is special because it's the voice of the island. So that even brings in Haki into this. But what's this? Well, what's this? Are these letters? And they're called poneglyphs. We can't read it. Can't read what is written there. So it's like they can't even read what's there, but it's there. What's certain is that the city of Shindur was destroyed in a fright to protect this stone. So that means something went happen here that is even before this flashback, which was already like over 100 years. A sacrifice of that magnitude leaves us no choice but to continue to protect it. So they don't even know why they're protecting it. They just are.
Yeah.
It's our duty as descendants to protect the proof that our ancestors fought and lived. We respect our ancestors as we would gods. So the reason I bring this up is like it shows that someone of the past could be almost looked to as a god or on the respect level as a god. So it shows that Sun God Nika could have just been some person.
Yeah, I think
ended up having the title and being respected like a god.
I mean, based off of what who's who said, he was just saying like the dude was a person, but you know people liked him so much that they start worshiping him. You know, like he kind of brought him up like he was an actual living person. You know.
Yeah.
So I think he was I think he was a regular person.
So what's interesting is the reason I even clip that is because in my theory, it's very on the screen too. Devils are reincarnated Haki masters. Is that it's almost like these people in the past were so powerful they were like gods.
Yo. Yeah,
so
man.
for that to come around, I like to see that. One of these days, I'll make that last final understanding.
And okay, so how far do you think the Sun God go back? Do you know? I'm thinking potentially before the Void Century. Honestly, like me, I think it's possible before the Void Century.
It could very well be before the Void Century because you got to think the Void Century is the turning point of history because there's before, there's after, and then there's during the Void Century. So whatever came before the Void Century also has to matter because it had to get to the point that they would even have to erase a whole century.
Yeah.
And then you have after. So yeah, it could very well be that it was before the Void Century. I think Zunisha was alive even before the Void Century, so there's relevancy there.
So yeah, I looked it up. Pantry. I mean,
Pantori.
Yeah, Pantori, but it's kind of spelled like Pantori. I guess is Romanized name, but it says he's the priest of Shand. He had like a beard and missing teeth. He's the priest of Shandia. As the only known pantry lived was Chaya. So I'm thinking it is a priest.
Oh, okay.
It's like what you call probably a high priest. It's a role. Okay.
Okay, I see.
So it said the pantry or Pantori is the sole individual among the Shandia thought to have the ability to communicate with the gods. The words of the pantry are considered the words of God, and obeying them is the absolute law. And the person who I guess was that we know to be the pantry was Chaya. It was like some old dude who lived over 400 years old. Live over 400 years. He died of tree fever. Yeah, so there, yeah. And he debuted chapter 287, episode 187. If you wanna go look for your own thing.
All right, thanks.
But yeah. So yeah, man, like I was trying to do research, man. Like, I've been busy this whole week, so I haven't really had a lot of time to do any solid research. And I was doing it like last night, and I was looking for like God, like real life gods, like at least mythology wise.
Yeah.
That is connected with the sun god, you know. And I mean, I think the closest I got was Sol Invictus. I mean, I've seen other ones, like I was looking more like at Aztec gods because I figured he was probably based off of an Aztec god. And I was looking at different ones, but I couldn't really get any that had like a history of being worshipped by slaves and But Sol Invictus, I think, is kind of like the name a lot of, like, I think it's like you got Sol, which is sun, and hold on, I think that might actually be the closest one. So it's long considered to be the official sun god of the later Roman Empire. So it's like a Roman god, but there's different gods from different time periods and different cultures. It was hard, man. I'm still trying.
Yeah, no, it is hard. I've seen Joy Boy talked about one. It was like this African mythology of someone who brings laughter and stuff. It was similar to Joy Boy.
I think I've probably seen
drawing that connection to Nika. I seen people talking about the sun god Ra.
I looked at
and the sun god Ra has a son whose name is. It was like similar to Emu, so then they were drawing connection to that. So I seen a lot of people drawing connections.
Yeah.
And I guess this will be the last thing. It's actually something I forgot to mention earlier, but I'm glad Salamander Red brought it up because, like, I think there's a connection between Wano and Fishman Island too.
Yeah.
For one, if you look, they have a dragon. It's like a dragon palace at Fishman Island, and dragons mean a lot also to
Japanese
Wano,
culture.
Yeah, in Japanese culture. And in fact, in that treasure room, it had that dragon that yeah, there we go. Someone mentioned it. It was like a Haitian. I said African. I think it was Haitian mythology, although Haitian branches off from African and stuff. But the dragon statue of gold, I think, that Ace punched, you can find one very similar in the Fishman Island Dragon Palace. I think it's called the Ryuga Palace. Ryu means means dragon in Japanese. And also, just look at Jinbei. Well, I think it's a shame that we never got to see Jinbei he never got like a Wano outfit. We never got to see him dressed up as like a Japanese person.
Yeah.
No, that's a joke because he's always dressing like a Japanese person.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, he already has the kimono. He already has the top knot. He wouldn't even like get a Japanese outfit, or they would have to make him like super Japanese, like give him like face paint or something, just to like up the level.
Yeah.
He already looks like he's from Wano, so it's like.
Yeah, you do.
Why is that? Why is there that connection? And he uses Fishman karate. Karate is. I don't know if it's actually pronounced karate, but I know.
That's the SpongeBob.
That's like a funny way of saying it.
That's the SpongeBob way of saying it.
I'm thinking karate.
Karate.
It's a Japanese martial art. So it's like, well, why is that? I mean, there might be something more to that. I mean, well, it is a Japanese manga, so he could just be like using his own culture's inspiration for these things. But there also could be a legitimate reason why there's a connection between Fishman Island and Wano. And then it circles back to the whole me thinking that advanced armor hockey is very similar to Fishman karate, and Wano focuses on Ryo. Ryo is just another word for hockey. A lot of people, me included, refer to Ryo as advanced armor hockey because it's just easier to say it that way. But really, it's just called hockey. The reason we reference it that way is because they focus on advanced armored hockey. It's sort of synonymous with it.
Mm-hmm.
And they focus on advanced armored hockey, and if you look at Fishman karate, it also seems like it focuses on that. And then if you look at, let's bring back Sentomaro. Sentomaro looks like he's straight from Wano, and he also focuses on advanced armored hockey. So it's just like one of those weird, is it a coincidence or are there dots to be connected there?
No, I think Tomorrow definitely has Wano ties, bro. I've heard rumors. People talking about like Tomorrow being part of Wano like way before, like like years and years before we even got to Wano. So yeah, I definitely think there's something there, man. Like there's this one guy that kind of like I wanted there to be something, but I don't know if I could find something. It's his name is Aten. He's a Egyptian god, like Aten. And I guess I was trying to do a correlation because his name. Because if you spell it backwards, it's like Nita, almost like Nika. But like I might have been trying to force it. But he is a sun god, like ancient Egypt. Very loved sun god who, you know, I mean, I don't really see anything about like slaves or being joyful or anything. I just know he was like really loved, and I'm looking at like I'm looking at kind of his description, and it talks about like the Ankh. You know the Ankh, right? It's
What
like
is?
the cross with the
Oh,
circle.
yes, I know what that is.
Yeah, and it's called. I'm trying to find where I've seen it. The Ankh is called the. It's also referred to as the breath of life
Ah, yes.
or the key of life.
There you go.
You know,
Just like chi and ki and
the
those things.
so
That may relate to like alabaster because that seemed to have a lot of Egyptian theme there.
yeah, man. And then we also gotta see. I'm also, it's probably gonna be the last thing, and then I'll let you say whatever. I'm also really interested in Nell and Nell's
Mm,
story.
yeah.
And if he'll return back in the story, because you think we're talking about the sun god, and Nell is
Hmm.
also a god too, or at least looked at as revered as a god. The
Hmm.
god of thunder. Where we got the sun god, the lightning god. So I'm curious what he learned on the moon, because he seemed like he learned a lot of stuff that we're not really gonna see explained in the current story. So I'm kind of hoping he comes back. You know,
Hmm.
I don't know in what way. Somebody, I seen somebody theorizing that he might return as the final villain,
Hmm.
which like they
I
explained it.
Yeah,
But
huge doubts, but that'd be interesting.
yeah, it
I
would be
guess
interesting.
with that, I'll just transition that into a um, video recommendation, which is if anybody hasn't checked out, you should check out my video about Apu and why I believe his abilities utilize Conqueror's Haki. That sort of brings in your topic of hockey mixing into stuff.
Uh-huh.
Um, if you look at the Sun God, they say that he like sings, he like brings music and stuff like that. Music and sound is gonna play a big role in understanding hockey and in One Piece because, you know, like we said, Skypiea. There's a lot of hidden gems in Skypiea that's gonna play off, and one of the things is that bell. It's known as the island's voice. It's almost like saying this entire island's hockey. Hockey and voice and sound have all they all play a role in one way or another. Music is very relevant to the power system in uh, One Piece. It's just been sprinkled throughout, and you just see a little here and there talking about voice and sound and music. You
Mm.
look at Big Mom; her abilities are all about soul, and you see she likes to sing a lot. We just
Brooke.
talking about the Sun God. You look at Brooke. Music and hockey are, I believe, and just sound in general is synonymous.
Yeah.
An interesting thing about devil fruits is, and this is kind of a sneak peek into where my final understanding Haki video is going, but devil fruits a lot are onomatopoeias. They are based off what the sound of things. So an example of this is the super supernomi that Mr. One uses.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, why is it called the super supernomi? I mean, what is he, a superhero or something? The
The
reason why is because
Mr.
it's
One.
super, yeah, super is a sound effect. It's so if in manga, whenever like it's not a clink of a metal blade. You kind of like lightly slide a blade against something. It in a manga it would say super, so that's why it's called the super supernomi. So it's almost like saying a sound or whatever is linked to devil fruits. And in fact, here's a little trivia note that's blatantly in the series, but I don't think a lot of people know this. You don't have, or I guess you would say, how do they name devil fruits? Who names devil fruits? I mean, there's an entire encyclopedia of devil fruits. Well, how it works is devil fruits are named by devil fruits. Whoever eats the devil fruits automatically knows the name of a devil fruit. That's why it doesn't matter how mysterious the devil fruit is, no matter who eats the devil fruits, all devil fruits are known. That every single, like for example, like Kanjiro and Kinemon and all them, they don't know what devil fruits are. Yet they all know the names of the devil fruits. They know the names of how to their techniques.
Yeah,
It's
like
just an automatic thing. Everybody automatically knows what the name of the devil fruits are.
I'm
That's
glad.
something that's been, I can't remember where it was said, but it is somewhere in the series that says you learn the name automatically when you eat the devil fruit.
I'm glad you said that because that I was thinking of something like I was like, bro, how like I don't. It was kind of like a to me it was like a minor plot hole. I'm not going to say like some big plot hole, but like you know you look at Bartholomew, right, and you look at the dude who has devil fruit back in you know the Kazumi, the old guy. How
Yeah.
did they know to cross their fingers like that in order to activate their
Yeah,
ability?
exactly.
You know, like
Something's going on where it's almost like overriding their own instinct.
but Luffy didn't know how to use his devil fruit right away. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I guess there's a caveat. It's like you gotta know how to activate. You gotta know how to use it. But for Luffy, it's like he wasn't learning how to stretch. He already knows how to stretch. He's learning how to actually be good at stretching.
Yeah. Or maybe he's good learning how not to stretch when he doesn't want to
Yeah,
stretch.
that could be too.
Because that's what happened. Like, cause Shanks was holding him or whatever. Like he was holding him by the legs to get him to spit out the devil fruit, and then his legs just stretched and he hit the ground.
Yeah.
Salamander Red said a few things. He said Randy Troy mentions Joy Boy being the Haitian spirit of music. I think you said said something about that. I think you said something like that.
Yeah.
And then he said, "I'm just now realizing how Japanese djembe's attire is."
I know, right?
I kind of realized that when I was watching the episode earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Cause I think at first
It's
I
like
kind
he
of
just
brushed
fit
off
right in.
Chinese, but yeah.
Mm.
And then he said, Jozu's glitter no me, Kizaru's glit no me.
Probably be the perfect counter. You can't hurt me. Everything you do reflects off of me.
That's true. That's true. Or don't somebody have like a mirrored devil fruit? What's her name? The Katakuri
Scarface lady.
I forget her name, but yeah.
It's Charlotte. We'll just say that.
Yeah.
Miss Charlotte. Everybody's Miss Charlotte in that family.
Yeah,
She's a witch.
she should be able to like reflect Kizaru stuff as well.
Oh, Brulee. Best
yeah,
girl.
Brulee.
Yes.
Brulee. Yeah, man. So if I would say as far as Kizaru, there's probably like maybe 4 people who could counter his ability. I would say Jozu maybe. Blackbeard. Adding one. Fujitaro possibly. I didn't think about him. And maybe Brulee. Because she could probably just reflect his, you know. Yeah.
Okay, well, It was a pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me to my first stream. I'm glad I was
Yeah,
able to
man.
do it with somebody else. You're helping me out,
Yeah.
and I look forward to doing this again. I'll
Yeah.
definitely come to you, ask a few things. I'll be more equipped.
Yeah, me, I'm gonna probably chop some of these down to make smaller videos because
Hmm.
3 hours is a lot
Yeah.
for somebody that want to just watch. So I'm probably just chop them down into segments and definitely publish them. But yeah, I appreciate you. I appreciate doing this collaboration stream. I enjoyed it. I always like to get good. I didn't think it was gonna be 3 hours, but hey, that's
Yeah.
hey,
We got
whatever.
a lot to talk about.
You know, I never get tired of talking One Piece. So
Yeah. I haven't made a video in like so long. I just had so much to catch up on too.
yeah, so but yeah, if you come in from my stream, make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell for notifications. I do these One Piece streams, these discussion about the chapter every Sunday at 4 p.m. Central Time. If y'all interested, it, we don't. I think we're coming back from break next week, so we will be doing chapter. Was it like 1019? I want to say is the next chapter.
Yeah, I think 1019.
Yeah, definitely let me know how you like having Elijah on. I'm gonna definitely have him on some more. You know, whenever he's available. I definitely want to do more of these collaboration streams. I might open up another day of the week to just have just random discussions or whatever. But yeah, anyway. And if you come from my stream, make sure you go to his channel, hit that like button, of course, and subscribe to him. He makes great theory videos, very in depth videos. But and I'll let you take it. I'll let you close it out with your people.
Yeah, I'm just grateful for whoever came through. Salamander Red, DJ Red Comment,
Oh yeah, shout
and
out to Salamander Red, man. He had, bro, like you got some good ideas and theories. I liked it. I liked it. I appreciate your
hopefully
input.
you come through again. And you know, Sean is no stranger to these because he would have discussions with multiple people. So anybody who would want to join in, just let me or him know, and we can work something out. I like it when it's discussion even more people. I mean, it can get hectic, but all those ideas in one space, it's really fun to be a part of.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, and hey, I got a Discord. I don't know if
Oh, yes, I will make
if
it.
Elijah one put the Discord in his things, but it's definitely, if you go in my description, I got a One Piece Discord where we just talk One Piece. You know, and I also got, if you on Facebook, there's a Facebook group. You could be part of that. That's also in my description. So yeah, feel free, man. I really want to build a solid One Piece community of people who just likes talking about One Piece theories and deep topics, deep discussions, not just like memes, funny memes that
Yeah, I know. Well, I try to bring some good theories to the Reddit. Sometimes it's a hit, sometimes it's a miss.
Yeah, but yeah, that's
You
all
guys
I got.
tired of memes?
Yeah, I am. But that's all I got for my channel.
Yes, thank you so much. I'll be sure to definitely do another one of these again. So look forward to that, anybody. And yes, reach out. And I will be putting the link to the Discord in the description.
All
Thank
right.
you so much. Signing out.
All right, y'all. Y'all take it easy. Peace.